Batting number 4, Jordan Boyer. And catching for Wichita State, 12, Cody Boyer.
Hi guys.
Shoppers are coached by Tom Butler. He is assisted by Mike Steele and Sammy Esposito.
Esposito.
And let's meet the Adidas starting lineups for your ECU. Batting number 18. Batting Batting
He just meets that, like where it's not open. Like that's open.
Batting number 13.
No, I don't.
Batting number 25, Connor Litton. Batting second base, number 10, Brady Lloyd. Batting number 34, Chandler Jenkins. Batting Batting center field, number 4, Drew Henderson. And pitching for ECU, number 24, Trey Beck. The Pirates are coached by Phil Butler. He is assisted by Jeff Colombo, Dan Wilson, and Hunter Allen. And the director of baseball operations is Pete Moscato. And that's tonight's starting lineup.
Here, you gotta look it up.
Adidas!
Are you gonna look it up? Good. I saw you gave up.
Can you look it up and it tells you?
What?
Set.
Hey, at least mine's clean. You did it?
You mind?
I gave him a really good.
Thank you.
Have you done it more than what I guess?
I hit one. Can I get down? Not once. One time. It's both.
Are you just saying right below it? Yeah. Bug with me?
I am a proud supporter of Donald.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. I'm on third.
Because everybody hits the net down here. They must airmail the shit out of it.
On this Thursday evening, the American Digital Network welcomes you into Greenville, North Carolina, home of the Pirates, as they welcome to town the Shockers of Wichita State. First ever matchup between the two in conference play, just one meeting all time back in the NCAA tournament back in 1991. That one in Wichita went to the Shockers as they would move on. Take a look at the American Conference standings. Already one weekend of play under their belts of most of these programs. Houston, your preseason favorites, already off to a 3-0 sweep last weekend. ECU dropped their Friday matchup against the Knights of UCF, but bounced back on Saturday and Sunday. They are near the top at 2-1. And, of course, Wichita State, they played Furman out of conference last weekend. They are looking for their first ever matchup in conference play since joining the American officially. They announced it last April, almost a year ago. On that note, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Lincoln Rose, along with former Major League pitcher Kelly Wunsch. And, well, on the big headline, of course, it's the Shockers finally making their debut 1 week after the rest of the conference, but worth the wait now. It's a top 25 matchup.
Absolutely. A couple of really good defensive teams coming in here tonight. A couple of good, very well pitching teams. Both of them very good in defense as well. Listen, these games typically come down to who can play the cleanest baseball and who can be the most efficient with guys in scoring positions. So who can play small ball the best?
Specifically, let's take a look at the visitors. Your keys to the matchup for Wichita State coming into today.
Wichita State has two of them. Stay poised and get on base. So essentially, don't come in here putting too much on this game. This is their first American Conference game, but don't place a whole lot of pressure on yourselves. Just play baseball like you know how. Get on base.
And, of course, on the other side of things for the Pirates, they are back here at home. They'll have a great crowd behind them.
Be yourself. Same situation as Wichita State. Play within yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't try to do too much. And pitching-wise, get ahead of batters. And in this particular case, ECU's starting pitcher, Trey Benton, 3 walks to 39 Ks. He doesn't seem to have that much trouble getting ahead of hitters.
A couple of players we'll keep an eye on in this top 25 matchup. Wichita State comes to town with one of the top power hitters in the entire league. Take a look at Alec Boehm, the talented young man at third base.
Alec Boehm, big 6'5", 220-pound specimen there. Scouts are loving this guy. Hit 350 in the Cape this summer. He's got 5 home runs already this season. 3 of them are grand slams.
And for the Pirates, a guy a little bit lower in the lineup, but someone who has shined bright, Brady Lloyd, keeping things going right around the 6th spot in that lineup.
Yeah, it never hurts to have somebody hitting 438 from the 6th spot. And here's a guy that, kind of tall, thin guy, but guess what? He can run. 8 of 9 stolen base attempts, so he's been a spark plug in that lower middle of the lineup for them.
For the first time, seeing significant playing time and making the most of it. Pirates, welcome to town. The Shockers 3-game series gets started tonight on this Thursday evening on ADN.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Moments away from the opening pitch, we welcome you in on the American Digital Network. As on the mound today for the Pirates, it'll be Trey Benton who gets the call on this now Thursday start. The typical Friday starter for ECU. Talented sophomore comes in with a 4-2 record on the year. 2.6 average opposing hitters as they face him this year. First man up will be Luke Ritter here for Wichita State, the junior, hitting .250 on the young campaign. Janista and Bohm will round out the top third of the lineup for Wichita State. Wallace, Vickers, and O'Brien the middle third. 7, 8, and 9 hitters Gibson, Troutwine, and Boyer to look forward to. And as ball slapped over the left side, and early on, Benton ahead in the count.
Just pounded the zone with the sinker right there, forcing these guys to swing and challenging them to hit the ball.
Benton, just a sophomore. Fastball, you'll see a lot of movement. Anywhere from 88, 93 miles an hour. Really comfortable, though, with his full repertoire anywhere in the count. And the 1-2 to Ritter. Second baseman Lloyd behind it. Able to get it in time for the first out as Ritter retired.
A little sinker away, left it up a little bit, but was able to still force a ground ball.
That'll bring up the dangerous back of Grayson Janista. Janista hit his most recent home run in the one-game series at Central Arkansas midweek on their way over here to North Carolina. Janista now on the year with 6 home runs to lead the team. But a guy you have to pitch to with Alec Bohm on deck in the 3 spot. We're seeing a lot more punch in the 2 spot these days in lineups.
Everything has changed. Home runs are king. Strikeouts are okay.
Janista ahead in the count, 2-0. One of 3 juniors to start off in this top third of the lineup for Wichita State. Janista this year hitting .330. Has made every start thus far. We've seen Janista and Bohm go back-to-back on home runs a couple times this year. as Benton trying to even up the count.
There's changeup. 2-1 changeup is what it looked like right there. Bottom sort of fell out of it. Benton comes across the ball. You see he's got a little bit of a three-quarter action on his release. Comes across it, has a lot of natural sink and movement on it. There's the first breaking ball you've seen from him. Got it a little bit up for a 2-strike count.
Well, he's facing a guy in Trey Benton who does not like to walk opposing hitters. Has only walked 3 men all year long compared to 36 strikeouts. That's the 6th best ratio of 13-1 in the country this year. And line drive to the glove of Lloyd. 2 up, 2 down so far in this top 25 matchup, as both balls have found their way to the right side.
Both outs, fastballs that were a little bit up in the zone, but had a guy there.
So that'll bring up preseason All-American and preseason All-Conference Alec Bohm. Bohm out of Omaha in his junior campaign. First ever hit as a Shocker a couple years ago, a home run. Power to all directions.
Benton just coming right after these Wichita State hitters with that sinker. A lot of times you see college pitchers get this deal where they try to avoid contact. They try to miss bats and ends up getting them deep in counts, walks a lot.
Underneath this, carries out to Hendrickson in center. That ball is gone. Bohm strikes first in his first ever at-bat in the American. And for his 6th time this year, he'll take the trot around the base paths.
We mentioned scouts like a look at this guy. Odds are that he will get taken in the top half of the first round of this coming June free agent draft. You can see why right there. A fastball kind of right down the middle of the zone, allowed him to get extended. Looked like batting practice. Just lifted it out of there like it was no big deal.
You can understand why his head coach, Todd Butler, made it a point to mention he will never have Bohm square around a bunt.
I don't think I would either.
Keeps the inning alive for Paxton Wallace, the DH today. Wallace, just a freshman, now in the cleanup spot, batting .368 this season, making his 7th start this year. Just his 10th appearance, less than half of the ball games. And a little far underneath this one. Let's see if it stays playable. Backtracking third baseman Litton has it. Perhaps a pitch too late, though. Alec Bohm with 2 outs and nobody on, able to conquer that outfield wall in center field. Wichita State strikes first here in Greenville. Pirates up next.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
Power. Power.
Power for life.
Well, Cody Hoyer becomes the first Shocker pitcher to take the mound in American play, and he does it with a lead thanks to the home run from Bohm.
Big right-handed Cody Hoyer. Fastball, you're going to see him running it up there about 92, 96 miles an hour. His best, his #1 off speed is his changeup, which is somewhat unusual at the college level. It's not exactly an easy pitch to learn, much less master, but that's his second best pitch. Behind that is a slurve, which he doesn't use nearly as much, but we'll see how he works them tonight.
Cody is 4-0 on the year, and well, you talk about a young man coming off one of his best performances against Furman. Of course, he's the Friday starter today, Thursday, as we're playing a day early because of Easter on Sunday, but he had a career-high 11 strikeouts against Furman in his last start. Looking to build on that here. He's an example of a guy they recruited out of Colorado hoping that when he was in warmer weather, he would continue to grow and improve, and they have actually seen that prove to be the case so far.
He certainly has the size and velocity to play at the next level. And again, the ability to have a developed changeup at this age is certainly a plus.
Bryant Packard will be the first man he faces. The sophomore will be followed by the bats of Turner Brown and Spencer Brickhouse. Washer, Litton, and Lloyd, your middle third of the lineup. Jenkins, Cadell, and Henriksen, the bottom third for the Pirates today. As Packard steps in from the left side. Packard lets one rip. Will this ball carry? We are even in Greenville. As Bryant Packard, with his 4th home run trot around the bases this year, will bring the fans to their feet.
It's not often you see leadoff hitters take their first swing, hit a home run. Remember, a guy named Ricky Henderson used to do that occasionally. You'll see those guys will take a big swing on the first hack just in case, looking for that fastball, and he sure got one he wanted.
Just about the same spot. Brings up Turner Brown, the shortstop, with nobody on, nobody out. Brown, a switch hitter. Bat on the left side against Cody Hoyer here, showing bunt early on. If he's not squaring around, is he batting on the right side?
What's that?
You think he's, as a switch hitter on the left side, simply to try to get down the line quicker?
Oh, absolutely. Get that 1 foot halfway out of the box by the time he makes contact.
This time he will swing up the middle. Your shortstop is Vickers. And there's your first out here in the home half of the first inning.
Handful of lefties in the lineup to face Hoyer tonight. Normally, you would like to see lefties versus righties. When you got a pitcher like Hoyer's, another guy with a 3/4 arm slot that's got a good sink to that pitch, and with a good changeup. That's changeup versus lefties ought to be an effective pitch for him tonight.
He's going to bring up the left-handed bat of Spencer Brickhouse, the first baseman. First pitch offered up the middle, backhanded stab by Boyer, and cannot get it there cleanly. As O'Brien tried to scoop it, Troutwine down the line to back it up.
Boyer had to range really far to his right, turn around and made a throw, and then got one of those hops to the first baseman. That's those tweener hops. It's really difficult. You just have to.
And it is going to go down as an error on the throw by Boyer. It was not going to be an easy play. And now here's your cleanup hitter, Jake Washer. Washer, who's also the Pirates' backstop, with the chest protector and shin guards off. One away, the runner on first is Brickhouse.
Just missed off the outside on that one. Looked pretty good.
And I'll tell you, Brickhouse has one more stolen base than you would expect from a guy named Brickhouse. He is 1 for 1 on the year.
A first baseman named Brickhouse, nonetheless.
Washer not chasing, now ahead in the count, 2-1. Jake, a sophomore, one of 3 sophomores in the top 4 of this lineup, batting .344 this year. A couple of home runs, a triple, a total of 8 extra base hits.
And plate umpire David Condon not liking the look in that outside pitch.
That's going to move the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. (3-1) from Hoyer. And there is a 1-out walk, now 2 on. Already 1 man has come home to score this inning for the Pirates here at home.
We're not having a ton of issues with the walk. His walk to strikeout ratio not bad, about 1 to 2, like you would like to have. But one of the problems he seems to have is going ahead and putting away hitters. He's getting ahead of them. But inability to finish guys has caused him some of the few problems that he's had so far this year.
A foul ball off the bat of Connor Litton out of the 5 spot. Litton hitting .333, making his 24th start on the season. Three home runs, 14 RBI. Chance to give the Pirates a lead here with 1 out and 2 on. Runner on second is Brickhouse. Washer on first. And this one pulled foul. Now in a hole, 0-2. Shockers with a home run in the top of the first off the familiar bat of Alec Boehm. And it did not take long for the Pirates to pull even. Bryant Packard leads off the ball game with a deep stroke to center field as well. And too high to chase, 1-2. Litton at the plate, nice size, the 6'3" junior. I say he has the personality that helps loosen up the rest of his teammates. And did he swing? They'll say yes. 2 away now with 2 on.
Got a good look at that slider. It's a little bit bigger, or at least it has been in the past, than a slider, but that's starting to look like a pretty prototypical slider. It's a great pitch. Good out pitch.
So here is the man we talked about coming into this evening's ball game, Brady Lloyd in the 6th spot. 14th in nation in batting average. It's going to take a dip right here. First pitch swinging, forced out for the 3rd and final out of the inning. But not before the Pirates see Bryant Packard go deep and pull us even. Wichita State and ECU, 1 run apiece, moving on to the top of the 2nd.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Already some fireworks on a beautiful day here in Greenville for college baseball. 76 degrees as we got started, pretty clear skies and winds of about 12 to 15 miles per hour. And that may have aided slightly on the home runs, but I don't think they needed much of a breeze to get out.
Neither of them. Those balls were well struck. Both of them pitchers pitching aggressively in the zone early, and both hitters swinging aggressively early in the count.
So Trey Benton sees the Pirate bats get that run back for him in a one-run apiece ball game. Trey Vickers out of the 5 spot, set to lead off for Wichita State after Vickers retired the first 2 in the first, allowed the home run, and then shortly after got the final man of that opening frame. It'll be Vickers, O'Brien, and Gibson, the minimum 3 due up. Vickers, the one of 2 seniors in this lineup for the Shockers today, batting .353, just his 8th start on the season.
Vickers really the heart and soul of this Wichita State team. He's come up real clutch on his hitting and just an all-around leader. Guy that the rest of his teammates tend to follow and look up to.
Again, Wichita State joins the American after a long tenure in the Missouri Valley Conference. They've been in that league since 1948. This ball starting to make them worry. That's off the top of the wall. They'll play it off the hop, send it in, and it is a leadoff double by Vickers. I don't know if Bryant Packard thought that ball was going to be playable.
He doesn't appear to have a really good read of it off the bat, because as you can tell, he didn't get a good jump on it, thought it was going to go further, and then he realized it was going to go over his head and played it off, was going to go ahead and play it off the wall. Maybe it's just me, I'm not standing out there, but it did look like he could have, if he had gotten on his horse, he may have been able to catch that.
So Vickers in scoring position for Wichita State. Here's Mason O'Brien. O'Brien, the junior, hitting .275. So Benton has the runner to worry about out of the stretch. And just off the mark now, 1-1 the count. Also not tempting for O'Brien.
Didn't have a little trouble with his breaking ball so far, leaving it behind him. Every time he's thrown it so far today, it's been up in the zone.
O'Brien, a familiar name for Wichita State. A couple of uncles, couple of cousins preceded him in the Shockers uniform. And this will just drift foul. So count will hold at 2 balls, 2 strikes to Mason O'Brien. Trey Vickers led off with the double. Wichita State, well, you can debate whether they ever had a base runner in the first inning. With 2 outs, that's when Alec Boehm had his base hit, but was able to escort himself home. Benton right now with a 1-1 ball game on the mound after Packard reclaimed that run with a blast of his own. Count goes full to O'Brien out of the 6th spot.
We talked earlier about offensive efficiency going to be a big key as to who wins this game tonight. And already looks like Wichita State's leading in that respect. ECU left a couple on last inning.
Punched up the middle. As Vickers will be able to move now over to third base. O'Brien retired.
Nice job by O'Brien moving the runner over. Get yourself deep in the count. At that point, all you're doing is looking to move a runner.
Let's see how the bottom third of this lineup can fare for the Shockers now. Hunter Gibson out of the 7th spot with his first plate appearance on the day, just a freshman. One of 2 first-year collegiate athletes in the lineup today, making just his 4th collegiate start.
Like Benton's picking up the feel of that slider, a couple of good ones in a row.
Asked Todd Butler of Wichita State earlier this week what would affect lineup changes for him, and he said, we've had too limited of a sample size, lefties, righties, righties, lefties. I'm just playing my best men.
I think that's a lot of time what you have to do. I think a lot of people really get caught up in those matchups. You play your strengths. What I always feel is pitching. You pitch to your strengths. Don't worry about the other guy's weakness.
Gibson now in a hole with a teammate 90 feet away. And the fans here in Greenville who have helped ECU have the top baseball attendance in all of North Carolina, now 16 plus seasons, including this year. We're hoping that one was going to sit him down. Vickers, the runner on third. And he will hold right there on third as the count goes to 2-2.
A bad idea to come back after a curveball, try to get him with the high fastball. Just got a little bit too aggressive. A little too much adrenaline. Drug his arm and left it too high. But a good idea.
So he's worked an 0-2 count now even against Benton on the mound. And he'll push this one foul. Count will hold right where it is. That'll bite him in the box, and he'll stay right where he is at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Gibson doing a great job so far of battling. Just trying to maintain contact.
Gibson, the freshman, his first collegiate at bat this year, a home run. As a teammate 90 feet away from reclaiming a lead. Instead, Benton able to sit him down. First strikeout on the day for Benton. And the runner's still stuck on third.
Well, Benton threw enough breaking balls in that at bat to have Gibson guessing, trying to stay back and protect on that curveball, and he snuck a fastball right over the top of the bat. Again, great sequence of pitching for Benton.
Gives way to the 8th spot in the lineup. And Gunnar Troutwine. First pitch offered. High chop gets over Litton's head. That will bring home Vickers, and again, Wichita State has a lead. 2-out base hit for Troutwine, who is swinging early.
I was just about to say how big that strikeout was as far as getting out of the inning and go ahead and get 2 outs. There you can, instead of worrying about that runner in scoring position, focus on just getting the hitter out. But Troutwine manages to sneak that high bouncing ground ball over the third baseman's head. Did his job and pushed one across for Wichita State.
14th RBI on the year for Troutwine, who stands at first for Jordan Boyer, the number 9 hitter, trying to turn this lineup over. Boyer this year, 3 home runs for the number 9 hitter, 9 extra base hits. As that one will kick away, Troutwine able to advance 90 feet.
That's a beard. Nice effort by catcher Jake Washer. Try to get his body over there and stop that pitch, but just a little bit too far outside.
Troutwine sneaks into your picture. Yeah, you talk about that beard. Previous head coach Gene Stevenson insisted that we call him Sparky every now and then. That's about as good of a nickname as a Shocker can have, I would imagine.
Too bad we can't ask Gene where the idea came from on that one.
Gene Stevenson, again, previous head coach, actually tried to recruit Todd Butler to play his college ball at Wichita State, current head coach for the Shockers. Butler would go on to play for both McNeese State in Louisiana as well as the Oklahoma Sooners. There's Sparky.
3-1 count. Benton does not have to go to Boyer here. He's got a base open. That said, if he lets him go, he's back at the top of the lineup with Ritter.
Pulls this one, knocked down by Litton. Plays it first, still in time. So there is your third out, but not before Troutwine brings home Vickers on the RBI to left. As a result, Wichita State, for a second straight inning, takes the lead into the home half.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
For a second straight inning, Pirates find themselves in a slight hole heading into the home half of the second. It'll be the it'll be the bottom third of the lineup for the Pirates, and Jenkins, Cadell, and Henriksen, with Cody Hoyer for a second straight inning entrusted with a lead to try to hang on to here.
I'd like to see Hoyer pick up the pace a little bit in between pitches, pitching with the lead. A lot of times, if you don't keep yourself motivated, I guess, keep yourself busy, you can get a little bit complacent. Your hitters, your fielders can get on their heels, and the game can turn around in a heartbeat.
So the most recent left-handed bat belongs to Chandler Jenkins. Junior hitting .259 on the year with a couple of doubles and a home run, 9 RBI this season, just trying to get on for his teammates, with Cadell on deck and Henriksen in the hole. Pirates led off the home half of the first with Bryant Packard's home run that pulled us even at 1 run apiece. The first of 6 Pirates who came to the plate to face Hoyer last inning. A couple of top 25 programs squaring off. Mentioned ECU after losing on Friday last week to UCF. Really impressed their head coach, Cliff Godwin, the former Pirate in his own right, with the way they were able to bounce back on Saturday and Sunday. Of course, Wichita State had to wait this extra week to get their conference play underway. Not just top 25 in the polls, but Wichita State number 6 nationally in RPI. ECU is number 12 nationally in RPI. Both great numbers. As that one's going to get out of play, foul.
1-2 count. Be looking for Hoyer here to see if he can put the hitter away instead of letting him work his way back into it.
Throws him right at the letters. And Hoyer has his second strikeout victim on the day.
Nice job of coming inside with the fastball. That's something that's not easy to do when you're having to throw across the plate for a sinker baller, but he did a great job of getting it to the catcher's mitt.
Brings up the designated hitter in the 8th spot today, Seth Cadell. Cadell, the only freshman in ECU's lineup today, batting .194 so far this season. As he'll chase that offering from Hoyer. Cadell already a couple of home runs. We're told has power just about any direction despite not being the biggest Pirate we'll see come up to the plate today. It's one of the countless North Carolina natives on this roster, understandably, for ECU. And Hoyer back ahead in the count. So 3 of the first 4 batters that Hoyer faced reached base last inning. Now the last 3 batters he has faced have been retired. And they thought they had Cadell right there looking.
We've already seen the home plate umpire, David Condon, lay off of that pitch, and you can see it's hard from the angle that you guys are seeing it from on TV, but something that looks just like it's catching the outside corner is probably actually a good 6 inches off the outside part of the plate.
The 2-2 to Cadell. That one breaks in. 1 pitch later, back-to-back strikeouts now for Hoyer.
I gotta think that might have been a little bit of a makeup call. Condon called that curveball up and in. Didn't seem to catch all that much of the plate.
Gives way to the 9 spot with 2 outs, nobody on. It's up to Drew Henriksen now to extend this inning for Bryant Packard, who's on deck already with a home run today.
Henriksen rocking the Super Trooper mustache.
The Pirates as a team in the month of March, growing the mustaches, if you mustache.
No, you didn't.
They are doing it all along with actually the Memphis baseball program. Both programs have ties to losing individuals to, of course, what is known as Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. For the Pirates, he was a former head coach. Talking about Keith LeClaire, who was actually Cliff Godwin's head coach at ECU. Was diagnosed while he was still coaching the Pirates. Died at age 40. That's right about the age that their current head coach is. So again, it strikes home on a number of levels. Speaking of strikes, striking out the side, Cody Hoyer entrusted with a lead, and he sits down the bottom third of the order. Swinging, looking, and swinging. He's got 4 Ks already through 2 innings of work.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Well, of course, a beautiful venue these days in Greenville for college baseball. Cliff Godwin will point out that one of the big differences from his playing days to now is the upgrades all around here for the baseball program, including this stadium that has been erected on the side of Lewis Field. Now Lewis Field at Clark LeClaire Stadium seats about 5,000. Wichita State with some upgrades coming along in the near future as well to their locker room and some other facilities, weight room. All part of their move to the American. It's a Wichita State program that when they're in the Missouri Valley Conference, of course, you're taking sometimes 10 to 11-hour bus rides north. Now as members of the American, some easy flights to big cities.
Almost like going from low A ball to double A in terms of travel.
The other perk is recruiting. Wichita State has 19 members signed for the next class, 10 of them from Texas.
Wow. Shame on those Texas coaches.
Yeah, Houston can only sign so many, and SMU has never signed anyone. So back on the mound, allowing one run in each of his first 2 innings of work is Trey Benton. And nobody on base to take advantage. Luke Ritter grounded out to the second baseman back in the first. 0 for 1 today. Out of Overland Park, Kansas, near Kansas City. He was hitting 080 until March 2nd. Now in his last 10 games, hitting about 353. This one's going to carry. It'll be interesting at the wall. Going up and making the grab, and it's out of the glove. Drew Henriksen kept the ball in the park, but ultimately it'll still be extra bases for Luke Ritter.
Fantastic effort. Just could not hang on to once he ran into the fence.
Yeah, that ball's getting out. Ritter denied his 4th home run, but he finds himself in scoring position now.
Well, maybe his luck is turning. He's been snake bit by hitting atom balls for a while.
Dan Rozelle, pitching coach for the Pirates, will make his first trip to talk to Trey Benton. And Rozelle helping complete this staff for Cliff Godwin. Played his last year in 2000, now in his 4th year at the helm of these Pirates. Previously top assistant for programs like LSU and Ole Miss, where when he was in the SEC, actually crossed paths with Todd Butler, who spent his time in Fayetteville, Arkansas as an assistant as well. Second straight inning, Wichita State with an extra base hit. Almost second straight inning, they lead off with a home run against Benton. Speaking of home runs, Janista, the team leader. Wichita State needed a 6th inning comeback against Central Arkansas, members of the Southland Conference, over in Conway, Arkansas, just outside of Little Rock. Janista with an important home run in that ball game. That was his 6th on the year. We saw teammate Alec Boehm, who's on deck, hit his 6th earlier today. Coming in, Henriksen. And this will drop just behind Brown at short. And you'll have runners on the corners for the Shockers.
Just a disappointing result for Trey Benton there. Gets a good breaking ball down in the zone. Janista's way out in front of it, just barely catches the end of it, catches it with the end of his bat. Falls into no man's land.
And now all of a sudden, Alec Boehm, who homered his last time against Benton, will come up with runners on the corners and nobody out. This is your nation's leader, by the way, in grand slams. It's not going to be possible here to add on with what would be a 4th grand slam. Boehm with 6 homers on the year now. Good old-fashioned fake to third, throw to first. And the result is the same as it has been 99.9% of the time.
This might be one of those situations. I don't know if you fall behind in the count to Boehm, if you're going to want to try to get back even with the fastball. You do have a base open at second base. You don't necessarily want to load him up, but you certainly don't want to feed a guy with this bat something right over the middle of the plate behind in the count.
His head coach, Todd Butler. As you see, Boehm, who got the scoring started back in the first with that blast to center, making it 1-0 at the time. But his head coach, Todd Butler, has coached players including Aaron Boone back in the day and describes Boehm as the most disciplined guy at the plate he has had over the years. Boehm making his 103rd consecutive start and looking to break this game open here in the top of the 3rd with nobody out. Ritter on 3rd, Janista on 1st. And Benton pulls that one back, 1-1.
Great 1-0 changeup. Always felt one of the best pitches, best counts to throw a changeup on is the 1-0. But you can see that 3/4 arm slot that Benton uses. He really comes across the top of that changeup. Had some really, really good action running down and in on the hitter's right foot.
2 on, nobody out. 1-1 to Boehm, not chasing. He is not convinced he's going to see a pitch he likes.
Well, this is exactly how I would pitch him in this situation. He's doing a great job. That's a little old Greg Maddux style of pitching. He'll run the sinker down and in and then throw the little slider down and away.
Remember, Benton has only walked 3 men all year. Compare that to 40 strikeouts. Only second base unoccupied right now.
Benton actually doing a really good job of throwing tough pitches near enough to the zone to at least force Boehm to think about swinging.
3-1.
Same situation as the 1-0. I think a good option here might be a changeup down in the dirt.
And he and Janista, both preseason All-America. Gave him one.
That's exactly what he's looking for. A lot of times in hitters count, you've got big guys like Boehm loading up, looking to put a charge into one. They see the ball out of his hand. It looks like a fastball. It's starting to travel like a fastball, and all of a sudden it's not there. And that big swing just rolls right over the top of it. You can be effective with a changeup against big hitters. Man, it makes your night a lot easier. Great pitch by Benton.
Again, Alec Boehm at the plate, third batter this inning to come up against Benton. The first two have reached on a double and single. Runners on the corners right now. And we're still waiting the payoff pitch.
Do a little third to first move. That wasn't really intended to pick anybody off. That was just going to check the run over there, make sure he's not going on the full count.
Bohm has just struck out 8 times this year, still waiting for that 3-2 offering. Paxton Wallace is on deck, barring a triple play. Vickers in the hole. Combined 1 for 2 today with a run scored. There you see Paxton, your designated hitter. Bohm gets around on this one, up the line, that's fair. Ritter has come home to score. And 2 runs ultimately will touch home as Alec Bohm drives in both Ritter and Genesta.
Benton went to the well maybe 1 too many times. It was a good changeup, but probably got just a little too much of a plate on a good hitter who's already seen a couple of good changeups from you. And credit Bohm for making the adjustment, staying back, pulling his hands inside far enough to get the barrel of the bat on the pitch.
Genesta scores all the way from first on a 2-run double by Bohm, already 3 RBI today.
That was almost a terrific job by Benton. In a tough situation, tough part of the lineup.
Visit from Cliff Godwin, his head coach. We'll mention Godwin wears that number 23 in honor of his former head coach, Keith LeClaire. After LeClaire passed, players used to wear that number. They would choose one player at a time. But the LeClaire family specifically asked Godwin upon his return if he would wear that 23 on his back, and obviously humbled to do so. You see a former Pirate now at the helm of this ECU program. Victory over in-state rival UNC. And we are going to have a new pitcher as he will have Trey Benton head back to the dugout after a little over 2 innings of work. We step aside in Greenville. Wichita State has already struck for 2 more runs here in the 3rd. 1 on, nobody out.
Oh, that ball is hit deep, left field, way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially. Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
$7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
The freshman Alec Burleson will come in out of the bullpen. He inherits Alec Bohm, the runner on second, who had the 2-run double just a moment ago to chase Trey Benton from the ballgame. As the left-hander will look him back.
Burleson so far this year has been ECU's best thrower out of the pen. He's 1-0 with a 0.0 ERA after 10.2 innings.
Yeah, opposing hitters batting a little under 200 this year against Burleson. So Paxton Wallace at the plate, fouled out to end that first inning, shortly after Bohm had his solo home run to give Wichita State its first lead of the day.
Still no outs in the inning.
Yeah, we began with Luke Ritter and a double. Grayson Genista with a single, and then of course Alec Bohm brought them both home. And this is a 3-0 count. An ominous start for the reliever Burleson.
Typically a guy that has trouble throwing strikes.
And able to hold him there with the strike.
Dangerous situation against a 4-hole hitter. You got a hitter's count. Again, with the base open, you got to weigh the benefits of coming right at him.
And from 3-0 to now a full count, 3-2. Payoff pitch in there for a strike. Burleson comes back, fires 3 straight strikes.
Not only does he get back in the count right there, but you'll see he strikes him out on a changeup. Very good pitch. Probably wouldn't have been called if it was not swung at, but 3-2 count. You see something that looks like a fastball floating right over the middle of the plate. It's hard to lay off.
Here's Trey Vickers. He was the second Shocker today to touch home plate. Had the double last inning to lead off the second. And that one grazes him. He's the 4th Shocker to reach base this inning. First time this year, Vickers hit by pitch as he will join Bohm on the base paths. Only third base unoccupied now.
Certainly not the end of the world. It sets him up for double play.
That'll be what Mason O'Brien tries to avoid here. Stepping up out of the 6th spot, 0 for 1 today. Grounded out to the shortstop last inning.
It's going to be a different look for most of these ECU hitters now facing a left-hander.
Just a modest lead on both bases for the 2 runners. Slow chopper up the middle, chance for 2. Brown to Brickhouse. And that's how you get out of an inning. Alec Burleson comes on. Faces 3 men. A strikeout, hit batter, and a double play turned up the middle. But not before the Shockers add 2 more insurance runs. It's 4-1 heading into the Pirate half of the 3rd.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Couple of nationally ranked programs colliding in this Thursday weekend opener. between Wichita State and ECU. Well, ECU, ironically, obviously, one of the big differences this year when talking to Cliff Godwin, he pointed straight to the pitching this year. It had been awesome this season. Now, they struggled to get quality starts last weekend, but still came away with some victories. Last year, defense has also improved since a year ago. Offense is pretty similar from a year ago. Both years they've had some injuries. This year they've handled it better. As you again look at Gunnar Troutwine behind home plate, Cliff Godwin says that's basically what a double-A catcher is supposed to look like.
With Lumberjacks in the offseason.
So it's the top of the order for the Pirates. Packard, Brown, Brickhouse. Packard tied this ball game up in the home half of the first with a solo blast over center field. He faces Hoyer now for a second time.
Hoyer comes out with an extended lead. Like we talked about before, he needs to work quick and get his team right back in the dugout if possible.
This one sent for a ride out towards the scoreboard, and it'll take a hop to the top of the wall, and that will be an automatic double.
Very similar pitch, very similar swing to the one that he hit out of the park in a very similar location his first at bat. I don't think Packard's having any trouble at all seeing that fastball coming in from Hoyer.
That's after Hoyer struck out the side last inning to hang on to a lead at the time 2-1. Shockers have grown that now 4-1. Here's Turner Brown, 0 for 1 today.
Back up at the top of ECU's lineup where the pickings ain't quite as easy.
Cliff Godwin points out while Brown may be undersized, has a heart of a lion. One of the more competitive guys that they have on their roster. Has 4 game-winning RBI this year. And over the last 8 games, 8 RBI, 10 hits, 6 runs. Not offering at that, count evens 1-1. He's also been one of the more durable players, which you love for a shortstop. Brown now has started 133 of his 136 possible ball games in his career. Runner on second is Packard. As Hoyer struck out 1 in the first, all 3 in the second. And looking for number 5 here.
Stayed on top of that pitch, well kept it down in the zone where you get that real deceptive sink late. Makes it real difficult to square up a ball, hit the bottom half of it.
Got him looking. That is the 5th strikeout already for Cody Hoyer. Just now working his way to the top third of this lineup for a second time.
And this is where Hoyer is going to be very successful. If he manages to stay back, stay up, and stay on top of all those sinkers, and you see the dramatic movement right there, right before it gets to the catcher, you see it dropping a good foot. It is really difficult for hitters to pick up on that and square it up, get a lot of ground balls. And the problem is I've seen him at times struggle with getting out in front, flying open a little bit. You see that throwing arm, that throwing elbow drop a little bit. He gets behind or underneath the pitch and it stays up high, stays flat. Breaking balls hang and you get in big trouble.
That strikeout holds Packard at second. Spencer Brickhouse at the plate now. You'll recall he reached on the second baseman's throwing error back in the first. 1 ball, no strikes, the count here to Brickhouse. Underneath this one, see if it stays playable. That one took O'Brien for a ride. Able to track it in front of the friendly dugout. Who then reminds him, keep an eye on Packard over there at second, 2 away.
Wind is swirling a little bit. You could see it's difficult for them to figure out who was going to get that to start out with.
So Bryant Packard led off this inning with the double that took a hop over the wall. Since then, a strikeout and a foul out has him still stuck right there in the middle of your shot. Here's Jake Washer hoping to bring him home with 2 outs. Washer walked back in the first inning, would be one of 2 men stranded for the Pirates that inning. What is that, the iPhone 11?
That looks like some of the old doodle pads that I used to have when I was a kid that you color all the squares in.
It's one of the more colorful charts. Chance to get out of the inning. Vickers, no problem. So after a leadoff extra base hit from Packard, Hoyer gets the next 3 in order. You're watching American Baseball on the American Digital Network.
$7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Well, one of the keys to the game tonight for Wichita State was get guys on base, and they've certainly done so far tonight. Took advantage of ECU starter Trey Benton not having his best stuff tonight. Jumped out to a 4-1 lead.
Alec Burleson came in, a not ideal start. First 3 pitches all out of the strike zone, but would still battle back to get a strikeout of Paxton Wallace, and then a hit batter and a double play later. No further damage would be done, but 4-1 our score, and those Shockers right now keeping the fans on their seats here at ECU. And I believe we have a pinch hitter for Wichita State. This is Dayton Dugas. Dugas out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Same city in which Todd Butler spent part of his playing days playing for McNeese State University. Ironically, Dugas went to Sam Houston High School, the rival of McNeese, Sam Houston State. All that in the Texas-Louisiana area. Dugas now comes on to pinch hit for Hunter Gibson, who struck out back in the second. Pinch hitters, by the way, for Wichita State this year, they're only batting .370. Well, that's going to elevate some. They're now 11 of 28 on the year. Pinch hitters for the Shockers. Dugas is on.
Got a fastball a little bit up in the zone, outer half. One of those you can see really good. Did exactly what he was supposed to do with it.
How's that for an adjustment in your 7th spot? And we would expect Dugas to stay in right field for Hunter Gibson. Here's Gunnar Troutwine, who had the RBI back in the second to score Vickers. Reclaim a lead for the Shockers at the time.
Probably going to be seeing some pinch hitting from the ECU side. You've got the pitcher, Burleson, right now. He's only thrown 10 2/3 innings on the season, but he's had 8 games. That tells you he doesn't go very deep in each appearance. I wouldn't expect to see him much more than a couple innings unless they're looking to maybe expand his role. I'd say very likely when his spot in the lineup comes back up.
Remember, the starters are all playing on one fewer day of rest. Now, unlike the majors, you're talking about usually a full week of rest between starts, whereas the starters just got 6 days. As instead of a Friday through Sunday series, we're playing a Thursday through Saturday on Easter weekend.
You know, the interesting thing about that is you would think that with a 6-day rotation, like that was 6 days of rest versus 4 days of rest in the major leagues or in professional baseball, that you'd have guys 2 days before their start all ready to throw and everything else. But the funny thing is recovery adjusts to the time that you give it. And I remember being just so sore that I could barely throw a baseball a couple of days even after a start. But and throughout my college career, and as soon as I got to professional baseball and I didn't have that time, it's funny how quickly your body adjusts to it.
Of course, Kelly Wunsch, standout pitcher for the Texas A&M Aggies before playing professionally and being a fan favorite up there in the south side of Chicago. Troutwine still at the plate. The count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. And still more balls have been thrown to first toward Dugas than to home to Troutwine.
What was his nickname? Not Red. Just too easy.
Another throw over to first. Troutwine out of the 8th spot, looking to keep the good times rolling. So off the mark, 2 balls, 1 strike after Troutwine finally sees a pitch from the southpaw. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count even. Runner on first, Dugas. This will be sent into play. Henriksen back towards the scoreboard. Not going to be able to catch up to that one. A 2-run blast from Gunnar Troutwine.
We'll see a little bit of a hanging breaking ball. Always you want those back. Hanging breaking ball down into the nitro zone of a right-handed hitter. He can just drop head on that. Great job by Troutwine.
Well, he had to sit there watching throw after throw make its way over to first and try to keep Dugas honest. Well, Dugas didn't need any kind of break off of first that time, as they both able to just jog around the base paths. Troutwine's 4th home run on the year. So still nobody out, nobody on now for the number 9 hitter, Jordan Boyer. Boyer 0 for 1 today. Was the final out back in the 2nd inning. See if this will stay playable for Jenkins out there and right. And, well, the answer was yes, but he cannot get his glove on it.
Both teams tonight having a little bit of trouble with the wind. can see the flags in center field are starched.
1 ball, 2 strikes now the count to Boyer out of the 9th spot. Left side, third baseman Litton will cut in front, make the throw. And that's your first down of the inning.
Nice job by Litton charging that baseball. A little slow hopper. Can't stay back and let it get to you.
Brings us back to the top of the order where Luke Ritter doubled and scored last inning. 1 for 2 today. He's facing Alec Burleson for the first time today. Burleson's now worked 1 1/3 in relief. Only other time these two programs met back in 1991. NCAA Regional at Wichita. The Shockers prevailing in that one. These players will have to take my word for it. They were not alive. Count now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, uncharacteristic evening for ECU. Their starters were 10th in the nation this year with a combined 2.56 ERA. The bullpen, a 2.59 combined ERA this year. They've had consistency throughout all 9 innings. They're facing a top 25 foe and the team they're arguably least familiar with in the conference this year. The newcomer Shockers of Wichita State. And the count full to the leadoff man, Luke Ritter.
Nice idea with a 3-2 changeup. But tried to guide a little bit, tried to place it instead of throwing it. Gets it up in the zone.
Already 2 have come home here in the 4th to make it a 6-1 advantage. Wichita State has scored every inning so far. And here is Grayson Genista, who singled and scored last inning. Your 5th Shocker to come to the plate here in the top of the 4th. And Washer able to keep that one in front of him.
Burleson not likely having his best night so far. He came into this game with a 0 ERA, and thanks to the 2-run home run to lead off this inning, it's no longer a 0. So it'll be a little bit erratic, a little bit all over the zone right now. Got good stuff, just needs to get ahead and stay ahead.
And pitching coach is Dan Roselle for head coach Cliff Godwin.
Of course, that was one of the keys for ECU's game tonight. Get ahead.
We'll put a pin in that. Again, that is Luke Ritter now getting the attention at first. And the power of Genista at the plate, followed by Bohm on deck. The reason why you have to pitch to Genista.
We like the lefty-on-lefty matchup here regardless. You want to go right after Genista.
That is the elephant in the room. Bohm, a home run and a 2-run double. 3 RBI tonight.
Burleson behind the count again, which I would imagine is probably not that big of a deal for him because he goes right to that changeup.
They may have caught a break here if somebody can get under this. And ultimately that somebody is Henriksen. Here's out number 2. Ritter has to hold it first as Janista is retired for the second time today. So Alec Bohm 2 for 2. Gave Wichita State that short-lived lead in the first with the 2-out home run. Would help them find a couple runs of insurance in the third, just last inning. And he may not have a chance to face Burleson. Well, for the second time in 4 innings, Cliff Godwin has to make the march to the mound. Burleson efficient in his first inning of work, but already has seen 5 men here in the 4th. When we come back, Alec Bohm at the plate, 2 outs with 1 on.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially. Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Wes Covington, the 5th-year senior, is your 3rd Pirate on the mound today. 4.50 ERA. Not quite averaging an inning per outing. This is his 8th appearance, all in relief. 6 innings to show for it. Opposing hitters batting .238.
Normally at this point in the game, you got a guy coming in here, you're looking for an inning eater. So far, his usage this year would not indicate that he is one of those guys, but it's early enough in the ball game. They've got to find arms to get him towards the back end, and the goal from here on out is to at least slow down the bleed and give their hitters a chance to get back in this game.
Alec Bohm, number 18 on deck, is number 15 there, Paxton Wallace. They are the 6th and 7th men coming up this inning for Wichita State, respectively. It all began when Dugas pinch hit for Gibson out of the 7th spot. Dugas singled. He would come home a moment later on the 2-run blast from Gunnar Troutwine, who only saw a couple of pitches after seeing quite a few throws over to first. Boyer grounded out for the first out, a walk for Ritter. Janista most recently flied out to center. And here's Bohm. Bohm never faced Burleson. He was the last batter that Trey Benton faced. But again, today he's 2 for 2, 3 runs batted in. A couple of extra base hits, including a home run. Left side, chance to get out of the inning. Brown to Brickhouse, and Bohm retired by our newest pitcher, Covington. 3.5 complete in Greenville. Move on to the bottom of the fourth.
$7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Welcome back here on the American Digital Network. Lincoln Rose along with Kelly Wunsch. Wichita State has scored in each of the first 4 innings that the Shockers have brought their bats to the plate. Pirates were able to answer the first run scored in this ball game, but in the last 2 innings, they've only been able to bring 7 men to the plate and scoreless since then. As a result, they've seen the deficit grow now 6-1 in this top 25 clash, and still going strong on the mound. Cody Hoyer back for his 4th inning of work. He'll face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters at the least: Connor Litton, Brady Lloyd, and Chandler Jenkins. So here is Litton, who struck out back in the first. Just now making his 2nd plate appearance. Again, Litton came in today batting .333. One of 2 Pirates to have made every start this year. And the Pirates right now just need base runners.
Pretty good slider from Hoyer.
Well, last time Hoyer was on the mound, it was a 4-1 lead. Now a 6-1 lead for you when you're on the mound. What difference does that make?
You're going to pitch more aggressively. I'm not going to be trying for strikeouts. I'm going to be pitching to contact as much as possible, trying to see if you can get some of those 5-10 pitch innings so that you can keep your pitch count low and get deep in the game. Once you get a lead like this, you don't want to give anybody else the ball.
And Litton is caught looking. 3rd Pirate to have a backwards K by their name. And for Litton, the 2nd time he's been a strikeout victim against Hoyer.
That slider got a little bit bigger on that one. Looked a little bit more like a slurve. You can tell he dropped his elbow a little bit. But he had enough snap on it. But Litton was frozen.
Brings up Brady Lloyd. One of the top 15 batting averages coming into today in the country. Hit into a fielder's choice back in the first.
438 hit in 6-hole. Doesn't everybody have one of those?
He has found ways to get on, and when he gets on, he ultimately has a chance more often than not to come home. Most runs for any Pirate this year. But he's going to need to not only reach, but rely on the 7, 8, and 9 hitters behind him, all of whom struck out in their lone appearance at the plate against Cody Hoyer. Hoyer with 6 strikeouts now, including Litton 1 batter ago. Noted Hoyer set his career high 11 strikeouts in his last start against Furman in that non-conference weekend series.
Try to see if they could freeze Lloyd inside with a fastball. On a 1-2, not a bad idea. A lot of times, though, as a pitcher, when you're throwing inside, you want to make sure that if you leave it out over the plate, you throw it extra hard. And that usually leads to overthrowing and then missing your spot by a mile.
2-2 to Lloyd, pulled foul.
You know, word on the street was that Hoyer's third pitch was this slider, but I'm telling you, I've seen this a lot more often than we've seen the changeup tonight, and he seems to have gotten a handle on it pretty well. He's having a lot of success.
Separate conversations you and I both had with Coach Todd Butler. Really emphasized how that slider had come on for him. Mentioned young man out of Colorado, came out of high school, throwing between 85 and 87, and that has picked up in warmer weather.
A few years of eating in the athletic cafeteria probably doesn't hurt.
This one will get through, and Brady Lloyd continues to hit for the Pirates. He's on with one away.
That sinker just up a little bit in the zone.
Just the second base hit for the Pirates today. Of course, the only other hit was when Bryant Packard led off this ball game with the home run against Hoyer. There have been 13 straight batters who failed to get a base hit. And I'm overlooking Packard when he also doubled last inning. So the first man not named Packard in a Pirate uniform. Lloyd is on with the single. Here's Chandler Jenkins, who struck out to lead off the second when Hoyer would strike out the side.
They got away with one right there, very close. Check the second base umpire, he says no.
One-0 offering sent towards left, hangs up there long enough for Ritter to get underneath it. And the runner Lloyd has to hold at first. Two away with the runner still on. And you see the fans starting to fill in beyond that outfield wall. Always such a great college baseball environment, but right now you're seeing their Pirates trailing by 5 in the home half of the fourth with 2 outs. Here's Seth Goodell, the DH, struck out looking in the second, 0 for 1 today.
I would be really interested to find out if signal theft is such a big problem in college baseball that we've got to go with color-coded wristbands to get pitches, to get calls in from the pitching
I thought you were
coaches.
suggesting one of those individuals in purple was a Pirate spy.
You see both catchers wearing those brightly colored armbands.
Vickers easily underhands it to Boyer. There's out number 3. So Brady Lloyd does reach on his single, but 2 batters later, handing over. They'll leave a runner on base. But Cody Hoyer, entrusted with the lead, still has his Shockers up by 5.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Wichita State has scored every inning so far since it has become a member of the American. Let's see if that trend continues here in the top half of the fifth. Lincoln Rose, Kelly Wunsch with you here on the American Digital Network. It's the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. Paxton Wallace, Trey Vickers, Mason O'Brien. Wes Covington closed things out as your second relief pitcher on the day for ECU last inning. And this will be his first time to see the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, as he's hoping to be the Pirate pitcher who can chew up some innings and save the bullpen for the rest of this weekend series. Tomorrow's matchup should be another great one between a couple of the better pitchers in the league this year.
Well, he was successful out of the gate. A 1-0 fastball to the big Alec Bohm. Managed to get out of that inning, get out of the previous inning.
Paxton Wallace, the cleanup man, the DH, 0 for 2 today, a foul out and a strikeout so far. Facing his third different pitcher now in his third plate appearance.
Covington, another sinker baller, similar to Trey Benton. Similar arm action, similar pitch action.
Covington working fairly quickly. Now 2-1, also sporting a March mustache. And they set a goal of raising about $7,500 along with the Memphis baseball program. Getting close to that goal here. And another batter hit by pitch today. This time it's Wallace. Leadoff man is on.
Looked like a changeup that he just got underneath. A lot of times when you try to slow your arm down a little bit to take a little bit more off of that changeup, it results in it dropping. Ball runs up and in, or sometimes you yank it down and away.
First inning was the only inning for Wichita State not to get the leadoff man on. A couple of doubles, a single, and now a hit batter. Did I say a hit batter? As Vickers now takes one. 2 on, nobody out.
Similar issue in that pitch. See Covington just kind of rushing out, leaving his hand behind, and it just can't catch up. Really came off the side of it well, but because his hand was a little bit too far behind, he got up underneath and to the side. That's what lifted it up and let it run in and hit the hitter. Now Coach Roselle is telling him to stay back, stay tall. Let that hand catch up so you can feel your fingers on top of the baseball.
So Paxton Wallace hit by pitch is on second. Vickers also hit by pitch now on first. Here's Mason O'Brien 0 for 2 today. A couple of ground outs to the shortstop, including an inning-ending double play. Back in the third. Do you take a pitch here?
I think you absolutely do.
That's Wallace sneaking into your picture. Runner on second. And O'Brien, at least for the moment, was showing bunt.
That's interesting. I'm not so sure. I was noticing earlier in the game when Bohm was hitting, and they were doing some of the third to first moves, every time that they picked, he was bringing his bat down, grabbing his bat down like he was going to square around a bunt. I'm really curious if that's something that Wichita State teaches their batters whenever there's a pick, in order to try to keep from getting discovered, you know, to sort of protect the ability to bunt in these situations. Maybe they do that, but in this case, obviously, he did square around the bunt.
Wallace on second, Vickers on first. O'Brien ahead in the count, 1-0. And we've yet to see him actually take a stab at a pitch while squared around. That time, a strike called. Dugas is on deck. He's been playing out in right field for Gibson since pinch hitting for him in the fourth. The 1-1 to O'Brien with 2 on and nobody out. See both the corner infielders, Litton at third, Brickhouse at first, both playing up. They'd like to give themselves a chance to make a play at third.
It's a little interesting that with a 5-run lead, they're going to give up an out to move the runners. I know that O'Brien is hit into 2 ground balls. His first 2 at bats, one of them a double play. You certainly don't want that to happen if you're Wichita State. May not be the best runner on their squad.
In West Covington, in relief on the mound right now. Only third base unoccupied. They're expecting some rain tomorrow, but today was your ideal forecast for a weekend opener.
Again, similar to the first and third move, whenever you see the pitcher do that inside move to second base in a bunt situation, most of the time he's not trying to pick that runner at all. He's trying to gauge what the hitter is planning to do.
On the 1-1, we have contact for the first time today.
So you'll see him run that inside move, and they'll be reading what the hitter does, and then they'll send in a signal from the bench. Catcher will stand up there and give his signals to the rest of the field.
That should eliminate the bunt now. 1 ball, 2 strikes to O'Brien.
Just knowing hitters like I know hitters, I'm sure he's happy that the bunt is no longer in order. Thank goodness I can swing. And that right there, they were going to see if he actually would square with 2 strikes. Just to be sure.
Oh for 2 today. Still with a chance to be productive at the plate. They're going to hold Wallace at third. Bases are loaded. So a couple of hit batters and finally a hit baseball. Nobody out.
Nice job by the left-handed O'Brien, staying in there on that sinker, down and away. Just making contact, making good things happen.
Cliff Godwin comes back out. When we come back, we'll give you some gaudy numbers for Wichita State when bases are loaded this year.
$7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Bases are loaded with nobody out for Todd Butler's Shockers. This year, his team bats 8 for 19 on the season, 5 grand slams this year. for Butler, who mentions that Coach Stevenson tried to recruit him to play for the Shockers. He would go on and play for McNeese State as well as Oklahoma, but made his way back to Wichita, and these days to be their head coach at the helm of this program. You talked about pitchers on those full week of rest. He adopted the old Atlanta Braves approach of, I don't care if you pitched yesterday, you're going out there to play catch the next day and every day, along with the rest of the starters.
Baseball is one of those sports that depends so much on touch, especially as a pitcher, where you can feel the ball coming off your fingers. And you really do have to throw the baseball every day. You don't have to throw it hard, but just going through the action and feeling the ball off your fingertips every day, you'll be surprised how much better and how much more locked in you can stay when you do that. I think that is a great philosophy, and one that if I was in his position, I would be promoting with my team as well. That's when the Braves had some overachievers, I think, named Glavin, Avery, Smoltz, a Maddox guy. And Matt Bridges is our fourth pitcher of the day now for ECU, as he comes on to face Dugas, who pinch hit last inning, singled and scored. Again, bases are loaded, 2 hit batters and a single. As you get another look, Dugas unable to hold up. 8th appearance in relief for Bridges this year, a 4.05 ERA. Opposing hitters batting 143, chance for 2. They'll give up a run, and not in time for the second out. So O'Brien is forced out at second. Wallace comes home to score on the RBI fielder's choice by Dugas. Bridge is another sinker guy. You can see him actually when he starts his windup. Looks like he's going to drop down sidearm, but then comes back more of a 3/4. Does end up with a little bit more of a unique appearance to a hitter. But similar action on his pitches as the first few pitchers tonight for the Pirates. Troutwine just last inning with the 2-run blast to give him 3 RBI on the day. Look, he does crosswords. It looked like a Sudoku. Wichita State still has scored every inning this ball game, with Paxton Wallace scoring earlier here in the 5th. Little slider from Bridges, starting at Troutwine a little bit. You can see he froze. Difficult pitch for a right-hander to sit on. And Troutwine 3 RBI out of the 8th spot in this lineup for the Shockers. With a win tonight, Wichita State will skyrocket right up there with Houston as your unbeatens in conference play. Obviously, they'll go right back at it tomorrow here in Greenville against the Pirates. Still plenty of baseball left tonight for the Pirates to mount a comeback. Just need some pitching. Troutwine. This will get down. He's 3 for 3. And coming home is Vickers. It's another multiple run inning. Both the batters who are hit by pitch to lead off the 5th have come home. You see that sinker just stayed up right over the middle of the plate, and Troutwine has been seeing the ball plenty well tonight. Safely on base for the 3rd time. Of course, the 2nd time he never even got to stay on base. Nice little exercise around the bases. Here's Jordan Boyer out of the 9 spot, 0 for 2 today. And the pitcher, the right-hander, Matt Bridges. Bridges responsible for Dugas on your shot there, the run on second. Mason O'Brien, who was forced out, was the last batter for whom West Covington was responsible. So both the current runners would be charged to this man. Always really important if you're a guy like Bridges that has a little bit of an unusual release, unusual mechanics to get ahead and throw as few pitches as possible to each hitter, because the more pitches they see, the more comfortable they're going to get with that, and you lose the advantage that you start with the first pitch.
That one right down the middle. And what an adjustment out there and right. Jenkins looked like he lost it. And as a result, that's a double play. Ball is caught. And Dugas guilty of assuming it was going to get down. So a bit of good fortune for the Pirates. Now looking for their first run since back in the first. They trail by 7 here at home.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Well, Wichita State will settle for a 2-run 5th. There was just one out when the number 9 hitter Jordan Boyer came up with line out to right, and Dugas a little aggressive ultimately. Finally would decide to make a break. This is based off the body language of Jenkins, who at this point didn't look like he had it until he adjusted last second. You see Dugas slips rounding third, but he has to get all the way back to second, and that's not going to happen.
It's one of those, if you're Wichita State, you like to get that back, because Dugas really didn't need to be that aggressive in that situation. He could have gone halfway to third base and waited to see if the ball was caught. If it wasn't caught, he was going to have plenty of time to score standing up once the outfielder leaves his feet. So that was a little bit of base running error there by Dugas.
That's the glass half empty. Glass half full as Hoyer all of a sudden now has a 7-run lead here in the bottom half of the 5th. As he faces Drew Hendrickson for just the 2nd time today. Hendrickson struck out to end the 2nd. One of the 6 strikeout victims for Hoyer today. Just 3 base hits for the Pirates so far.
It's always a little bit of a challenge when you're the beneficiary of a lot of runs being scored by your own team. You're in the dugout a lot. 6
strikeouts for Hoyer so far in his start.
Done a great job getting ahead, staying ahead for the most part. You can see some of these. He's living a little bit higher in the zone than he should, but later, as he's gone a little bit further in the game, he's been able to stay back, stay on top of the pitches, and he's working down in the zone very well. But as I was saying before, the trick is when you're getting all these runs scored for you and you're sitting down on the bench, it's easy to get tight and easy to kind of lose your adrenaline. The good thing from that perspective is
Hendrickson trying to test the limits of that wall. It'll stay in play. Extra bases for Hendrickson, looking for a triple. And that ball will hit off of Hendrickson. A little bit more good fortune for the Pirates. He's 90 feet away from giving them their first run since back in the first.
Not a terrible pitch. Just a fastball outside half. Henderson does a great job taking it for a ride. Again, we're seeing outfielders from both teams having a little bit of trouble reading the ball off the bat with that strong crosswind blowing left to right. Proving to be quite a challenge for these outfielders.
Yeah, every player out in the field is also doubling as a windsock for us. Top of the lineup, Bryant Packard. A home run and a double today. He tied it 1-1 in the first. We thought, well, that might be the kind of ball game we're in for, as they would trade jabs, but Wichita State has landed several punches, with the Pirates unable to counter so far.
Well, the thought that I was trying to get to, my slow point, is that that Hoyer is actually, you know, they've gotten, Wichita State's gotten their runs in small bunches where he hasn't had to sit down for a whole lot of time in between innings. They get an 8-run lead, I mean, a 7-run lead, and they've been getting them 1 and 2 at a time. So he should be able to stay relatively lathered up. You can see right here, though, it does look like he might be in need of a little adrenaline boost. Leadoff triple, and now he's got the second hitter, who is now the leadoff back to the top of the lineup.
This will be the 59th pitch for Hoyer tonight. Packard's already conquered the center field wall. This one to left, playable for Ritter, but a sacrifice fly that'll bring Hendrickson home. So Bryant Packard has both runs batted in today. They need more production here. Still trailing by 6. Nobody on with 1 away now.
Well, you could say that Hoyer finally solved the Packer problem, but not really. As Packard takes the sac fly RBI, reduces Wichita's lead to 6.
Turner Brown 0 for 2. A ground out to left side, a strikeout looking. Right now 1 away with nobody on. Mentioned Turner, one of the leaders on this squad. Gives it a good cut, but behind the count.
Fifth inning tends to be a tough inning for starters. It's kind of the hump inning. Sometimes slow starters have a little trouble with the first, but it's always the fifth that if you can break through and get to your second wind, this is usually kind of a turning point on a start.
Wichita State already 9 quality starts this year from its pitchers.
At this point in the game, he's got 62 pitches. Hoyer's probably going to start feeling a little bit of fatigue on his backside, resulting in typically pitchers kind of leaking a little bit, drifting towards the plate, leaving their arm behind, dropping their elbow, and losing a little bit of command. And it takes an adjustment to remind yourself, hey, I'm getting a little bit tired. Stay back, stay on top of the ball.
And the 1-1 will hit him. Second base runner this inning for Hoyer. First time Pirates have had multiple men on since back in the first inning.
So far, Wichita State has 1 out in this inning. He's gotten 1 out in this inning, but Hoyer's definitely not looked as sharp so far as he has earlier in the game. Leadoff triple, sac fly deep to the outfield fence, and now a hit batter.
Ball won't break against Spencer Brickhouse. Reached on an error in the first, a fly out in the third, foul territory. Again, a couple of top 25 programs. ECU 18-5 on the year. Wichita State 18-4, both against difficult schedules. Wichita State an RPI of 6. ECU an RPI of 12. We mentioned ECU did drop their Friday matchup against UCF last weekend, but bounced back for victories on Saturday and Sunday to take yet another weekend series. ECU preseason picked 4th in this league, Wichita State 6th, and I think most people now reevaluating think they may both exceed those expectations.
Impressed by this Wichita State lineup so far tonight. Putting a good group of good at-bats together. This Pirate staff is no slouch. Giving them some good stuff, and Wichita State has done a great job of handling it.
Brickhouse right now at the plate with the runner on first, Turner Brown. The fourth batter this inning now for the Pirates. Still just one away. And not tempting, 3-0.
Second hitter this inning so far. He started out 3-0. You got to be careful as you don't start trying to place the ball. You got to trust your stuff. Know that you've gotten through the first 4 innings by just seeing the target, hitting the target. You don't want to get in a position to have the only thought in your mind is, hey, just throw a strike here. That's usually the opposite of what eventually happens when you have that thought. A little help from Brickhouse on that one.
So full count here with one away. Runner on first is Brown after being hit by pitch. Hoyer with a 6-run advantage to pitch with right now, as the batter Spencer Brickhouse.
Well, you just can't buy a baseball name as good as that.
This will hang up, playable for the third baseman Bohm, and he's got it in foul territory, 2 away. Second time Brickhouse has fouled out today.
Well, Hoyer manages to win that battle after starting way in the hole on a 3-0 count, climbs back in. Gets a little help from Brickhouse swinging at a high fastball. And comes back, and another one slightly elevated that Brickhouse just couldn't catch up to. That's what ended up popping it up to the third baseman, Bohm.
Jake Washer, cleanup hitter. And a nice pitch by Hoyer. Washer walked in the first. That's the only batter walked today by Hoyer. One of 2 free passes compared to 6 strikeouts. Officially 0 for 1 on the day. Of Hoyer's 6 strikeouts, they've come against 5 different Pirates. Jake Washer not among the collection.
You can see after getting that second out, all of a sudden Hoyer seems to be a little bit different pitcher. More comfortable, more aggressive. Now he's 0-2.
Thought he got the cleanup batter looking, but again, a slightly deceptive angle there on your screen.
Just off the outside part of the plate, you can see that tail was just trying to catch the black on the outside. Bet you could throw that same pitch 10 times and you'd get it called a strike half the time at least.
Especially if your name's Kelly Wunsch. May have been low, but they'll ring him up. Hoyer continues to strike out at least 1 batter every inning. That's his 7th K on his resume this evening in Greenville. Wichita State looking to add their lead when we return in the top of the 6th.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Well, ECU found its second run of the ball game with the sacrifice fly off the bat of Bryant Packard. He's driven in both of the Pirates today. The first one he drove in was coincidentally named Bryant Packard when he tied this on a solo blast 1-1. But since then, Wichita State's been able to put up runs more often than not, multiple runs. And as a result, it is still a 6-run advantage. Shockers now back at the plate here in the top half of the 6th inning, and it's the top of the order. Lincoln Rose, Kelly Wunsch with you tonight here on the American Digital Network. Back on the diamond tomorrow here on ADN with some softball in Houston, as it'll be the Cougars and the Knights. They're getting game 1 of their series underway this evening. Again, a lot more Thursday competition this week around the conference, with Easter pushing things up a day early for most. Matt Bridges in for his first full inning of work, perhaps. Came in relief last inning. Got the final 2 outs on a double play. Not a routine double play, but a line out to right. And got the final out at second. Luke Ritter today is 1 for 2. A double, a run scored, a walk, after grounding out back in the first inning.
Lincoln, I think even though ECU scored a run that last inning, they missed a pretty big opportunity, or maybe their biggest opportunity, to chase Hoyer before he reaches his pitch limit. You could see Hoyer really all of a sudden, his tires started gripping towards the middle of that inning, and you can see him starting to gain momentum.
And that's just the second time today Wichita State will not get their leadoff man on. Bridges gets the strikeout.
Bridges jumped out ahead in the count like we talked about. Like the ECU keys to the game. Caught Ritter sleeping on an outside fastball. Got him on the outside black.
Here's Genista 1 for 3 with a run scored back in the third following his single.
Changeup's a really effective pitch for a sidearm right-hander against a left-hander. That's 2 in a row.
They were already shading him towards second base as Brown easily behind that ball over to Brickhouse. 2 up, 2 down. And that's the first time to retire the first 2 batters since back in the first inning. Of course, it was the same 2 batters. Wichita State wouldn't mind continuing that trend because, well, Alec Boehm, after those first 2 batters were retired in the first, picked up his 6th home run on the year. He comes up with 2 out, nobody on here. Matt Bridges trying to be the first ECU pitcher to work a scoreless inning, and of course a perfect inning. Similar pitch as the strikeout of Ritter.
Slider started heading towards Boehm, kind of got him frozen on it. Saw him do a little buckle. Those always make you feel good. as the pitcher.
So Alec Boehm at the plate, trying to extend this inning with Paxton Wallace on deck. Boehm out of the 3 spot. Not going to chase that one.
Bridges, the second pitcher tonight, to have the opportunity to face Boehm with 2 outs and nobody on.
Saw Wallace on deck there, was hit by pitch to lead off last inning, came home to score one of the 2 runs of insurance for the Shockers that inning. Now 3-1 to Alec Boehm. Again, Boehm, an Omaha, Nebraska native. Obviously, all college programs want to wrap up their season in Omaha. And he's going to have to stick around now, full count. That pitch, getting a lot of strike calls tonight for both teams. See if Bridges goes to it again.
ECU pitcher generally been pitching Boehm pretty tough. There was a elevated fastball in his first at bat that ended up in a home run. And Bridges actually probably got away with one right there, a little bit of a hanger right over the middle of the plate. Somebody needs to be reminded that there's a net there.
I'm surprised his first reaction wasn't to save the popcorn. Now Boehm will take his base.
Well, hopefully he didn't squeal.
You could see his friends were giving him a tough time about it. So a 2-out walk to Boehm. There will be no perfect inning still for a Pirate pitcher as of yet. But you can still post a 0 on the board. Here's your cleanup man, Paxton Wallace, who is 0 for 2 today, but last inning hit by pitch and came home to score.
Got underneath that fastball a little bit. Got a little bit of a funny look on his face after that pitch, like it may not have felt all that great.
Yeah, team trainer has come out along with Cliff Godwin. And they can't keep burning through pitchers. Bridges is already the 4th pitcher they have used in 5 2/3 innings of work so far. And you see debate with our home plate umpire. It looks like that has to be it for Matt Bridges, with Godwin coming out. We'll give a mention to the rest of our 3-man crew. David Condon behind home plate right now, chatting with Coach Godwin. Charlie Clemens at first. Harry Greer, third base umpire tonight. And whether Godwin wanted to go to the bullpen or not, your next Pirate coming out to the mound is going to be Zach Barnes. Well, the former Pirate catcher, now the Pirate skipper, heads back to the dugout. He's got his 5th different arm on the mound coming up when we return on ADN.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially striking falls over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
a clutch hit.
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Well, if you had Zach Barnes in your office pool as the 5th pitcher of the night here in the 6th inning for ECU, a team that has pitched extremely well this year, had some hiccups this last weekend. But this is after Trey Benton was pulled after a little over 2 innings of work, having surrendered 4 runs. And Wichita State has scored every inning so far except here in the 6th, still with a chance with the runner Bohm over on first after his walk.
It's just me, or does Barnes look like he could be a coach on this team? Maybe it's the mustache.
Looks like he could be collecting a pension from Major League. The mustache has the effect. See, Bohm slides back into first. Paxton Wallace, the cleanup man. But Wallace, as your cleanup man in this lineup, has the benefit of batting behind Janista and Bohm. It's his job to protect Bohm from just simply being walked nonstop. Wallace out of Greenbrier, Arkansas, just a freshman. A big cut, but Barnes will blow it by him.
Todd Walker likes Wallace because he's aggressive. He's going to get out there and swing ugly and swing mad and make things happen.
This will get down. Runner on first will make his way to third. Bohm now 90 feet away from adding insurance here. Brickhouse was there to back things up. And again, the Shockers 90 feet away from posting yet another run in this ball game. They've yet to have a 0 hung on the board.
Barnes got that breaking ball a little bit high. As the saying goes, you hang it, they bang it.
That'll give way to Trey Vickers, who has scored twice today with runners on the corners. Remember, first 2 batters were retired. Ritter and Janista, a strikeout and a ground out. And the last batter that Matt Bridges would face was Bohm on the walk. Bohm's now on third. Bridges conveyed to the team trainer in the dugout that something may not be right. And as Godwin joined the trainer out there on the mound, the pitching change to Barnes. And Trey Vickers today, a double, and twice has been hit by a pitch.
Vickers, known for his clutch hitting, has a chance to put this game virtually out of reach. Single scores 1, maybe 2.
We have not seen a reliever for the Pirates today start and finish an inning. And this won't help. Wichita State continues the trend. They have scored every inning in Greenville tonight. Vickers comes through. He has scored twice today, now with his first RBI. And all of this is being done with 2 outs.
Vickers does a great job, not trying to do too much with a fastball down in the zone, 2 strikes. You don't have to hit a home run to have success.
So a two out walk followed by a couple of 2-out singles. Here's Mason O'Brien. Washer back to the backstop, and it'll get out of play. O'Brien today 1 for 3, singled last inning. Otherwise, is grounded out twice to the shortstop. Jake Washer looks over to his dugout before relaying the decision to Barnes on the mound. Barnes came in with 2 outs, still looking for that out to get him out of the 6th inning. O'Brien. This one back to the wall, but will not carry out of the range of Henriksen, who has it for the 3rd and final out. But not before Wichita State reclaims an insurance run. Alec Bohm with a 2-out walk comes home to score on the RBI from Vickers. Shockers looking to move to 1-0 in conference play.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Second weekend of conference play in the American, with the exception of course, Wichita State not only making their debut as members of the American. It was announced on April 7th of last year that Wichita State would join the Pirates and all the existing members of the conference. And Wichita State, however, last weekend played Furman non-conference play, finally making their debut tonight, and what a debut it has been. It's a top 25 clash. ECU is ranked as high in the polls as 16th. Wichita State as high in the polls as 18th. And still going strong after a precarious inning in the 5th. Cody Hoyer, you mentioned, able to catch maybe a couple of breaks, and as a result, extend his stay.
Yep, and he had a relatively quick inning, relatively quick stay on the bench that half inning. So he might be able to maintain that head of steam that he seemed to pick up with his last 2 hitters.
Every single inning he has stepped on the mound, he has had a larger lead than when he last left the mound. Here is Litton, your number 5 hitter, has struck out twice today. 7 strikeouts for Hoyer on the mound. It is a pitching staff for Wichita State that struck out 37 last weekend in their 3-game series. Off to a good start with Hoyer. I think both teams are very confident in the men they have going typically as their Saturday starters. This week, they're Friday starters. Regardless, they're all in line for a good Friday.
Hoyer starting off a little slow already. 2-0 on this first hitter. Number 3-0, did that a couple of times last inning, and he really hasn't gotten this far behind hitters all game. You're starting to see some repeats of that of the last 20 pitches or so.
Litton batting .326 on the year now after 0 for his first 2 at bats. Again on deck, you have that traditional number 6 hitter batting .439 in Lloyd. Chance to get through, knocks it down. We'll throw it across for good measure, but once that ball did not stay in the glove of Vickers, you like Litton's chances of leading off this inning as a base runner.
Hoyer got back in the count, left a fastball up in the zone, and Litton put a pretty good charge on it. Vicker did a great job of ranging to his right, but just a little too much on it, a little too deep for him to make a clean play.
Hoyer's conceded 5 base hits in this ball game. Most of them have been to the leadoff man in an inning. A home run in the first, double in the third, a triple in the fifth, and now here in the sixth, able to reach was Litton. As that is officially a base hit for Litton. Here's Brady Lloyd, who singled 2 innings ago, 1 for 2 today. And for the first time today for Wichita State, we're seeing some action in the bullpen. A couple of arms getting warmed up.
We're up around 80 pitches. You see this is a situation of him getting in trouble. I'm sure they don't want to have him in a situation to where he has to leave a game with guys on base after having pitched so well at this point.
Lloyd ahead of that pitch. One of those arms appeared to be Clayton McGinnis, the right-hander for Wichita State. Yeah, for Hoyer now, 82 pitches thrown in this ball game. Allowing 2 runs on 5 hits. 1 error by the Shockers defense, and that wind still blowing. ECU has stranded 5 runners today. This will get through on the right side. Litton rounds second. It's going to retreat and hold up there. His is not going to be the tying run, so they'll be conservative.
Well, back-to-back ground ball singles, and that was a slider from Hoyer on that pitch. You know, you have to be a good evaluator of your performance. I wouldn't say he's in any trouble at this point. Again, 2 ground balls. Although, you appear to have some action.
Head coach Todd Butler makes his first visit to Cody Hoyer. As we step aside, for the first time today, a Shocker reliever will make his way to the mound here in Greenville.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Well, the first man for the Shockers not named Cody Hoyer to step onto the rubber is Keelan Kilgore, homegrown talent out of Wichita, Kansas. Kilgore inherits a couple of base runners in Connor Litton and Brady Lloyd with nobody out. Now, a couple of them just some infield grounders that get through. But a nice outing for Cody Hoyer. He's on the hook for these 2 base runners right now. But otherwise, Hoyer allows just 2 runs on 6 hits thus far. Kilgore's lefty, I assume you know him.
Of course, we all know each other.
He'll face the bottom third of the lineup coming up now. Chandler Jenkins 0 for 2, strikeout and fly out to left.
Kilgore comes in the game tonight with solid, if somewhat unremarkable numbers. 3 ERA after 7 appearances and 6 innings. Certainly a short time reliever based on his usage so far this season.
Yeah, it's his 7th appearance out of the bullpen. Did get 1 start earlier this year. A 1-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Opposing hitters batting .240. You see Litton on second. Lloyd is 90 feet behind him at first, after Lloyd has now gone 2 for 3 and upped his batting average to a modest .448. Nice offering there from Kilgore.
Coach Butler looking, moving pitchers around, similar to what you do in professional baseball. Got a lefty-lefty matchup. Late in the game, you got guy in scoring position. Kind of a no-brainer at many levels.
Well, you know you're getting later into the night because the local news photographers have now all retreated with all the highlight footage they can grab and still make their deadline. It's, again, 9 Eastern.
Camera pit is getting empty.
Got him. So Kilgore picks up where Hoyer left off. Now with his first strikeout victim.
And that's what they brought him in there for. Lefty on lefty, you see that big break and curveball. Once you get that far ahead in the count, left-handed hitter Jenkins gonna have a difficult time making contact. Great location though. Great job by Kilgore.
Is after Hoyer fanned 7 of the batters he faced today. Here's Seth Cadell 0 for 2 today. And Kilgore coming in and has retired the first 2 batters he's faced. Dugas, the man who squeezes that one in. That means Drew Hendrickson will be the man challenged with keeping this inning going. After back-to-back singles to start the bottom of the 6th by Litton and Lloyd, they are still on second and first, have not been able to move an inch. And as I say that, Hendrickson will be lifted. This is Bryson Worrell, a freshman.
Well, you know that wind is howling when you start to pick it up on the field, Mike. Surprised they hadn't blown all the flowers off the trees behind the scoreboard.
There were a few you saw
like
blowing through
out there, right?
As if they were moths coming through the infield. Bottom half of the 6th inning. Keelan Kilgore, your first relief pitcher of the day for Wichita State, facing his 3rd batter. Retired the first 2. And just throwing strikes now to the pinch hitter here in the 9th spot, Bryson Worrell. Got him looking. And I'm off by a pitch.
We caught him looking, Lincoln.
Yeah. Did I not enunciate properly?
Yes.
Caught him looking.
I heard what you said.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Did sneak that fastball on the inside corner, leaves him wide open. What he's going to do now.
Like I said, got him. So Kilgore comes on with 2 on, nobody out. Neither runner advances. He strikes out a pair and retires the 3 men he faces.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
So Pirates unable to take advantage of getting their first 2 men on. And Wichita State sails into the 7th inning now with a 7-run lead. Again, the Pirates are still looking for a relief pitcher who can start and finish an inning. We were introduced to Zach Barnes in the top half of the 6th. He just needed to find 1 out, was able to do so. Just not before Alec Bohm would add another insurance run. It's the bottom third of the order now for Wichita State. 7, 8, and 9 hitters today for the Shockers, a combined 4 of 8. You okay with that?
Yes, I'm fine with that.
That includes Dugas, who had the pinch hit single in the 4th, had the RBI fielder's choice in the 5th. Now back up here in the 7th, officially 1 for 2. Now batting .273 on the year. It'll hang up there long enough for Henriksen to squeeze it in for the first out.
Barnes just got away with some pretty poor location on an 0-2 pitch. You see this fastball not anywhere near where it should be. It catches way too much of the plate, and it was about mid-thigh. Dugas laces it to the center fielder, Henriksen. Sometimes those in and outs.
Gunnar Troutwine, one of our 3 home runs today by these 2 teams, came off his bat back in the 4th inning. That was a 2-run blast. He has 3 RBI, make it 4 RBI. He's driven home at least 1 run every plate appearance, 3 for 3 today. Only way he can keep that going is if he has his 2nd long ball of the day. And Troutwine, your catcher, batting .311 now. One and two.
A couple of decent change-ups from Barnes right there. He's
back in the 4th inning with Dugas after his pinch hit single. Troutwine would bring him home. Are you familiar with wildlings on Game of Thrones?
Indeed. I know who you're talking about.
4 for 4 on the day is Gunnar Troutwine. The number 8 spot in this lineup coming through tonight.
Barnes just fighting to get the pitches down. He's been elevating quite a bit, going all the way back to last inning. Those things are going to come home to roost if he can't get on top of it and stay down in the bottom half of the zone. This will be yet another Pirate pitcher that can't get out of the inning.
1 out, 1 on. Here's the 9-hitter Jordan Boyer. Boyer is the only batter currently in this lineup for Wichita State without a base hit today. 13 hits for the Shockers, looking for their first out of the 9 spot. Shockers are batting 8 of 18 with runners on.
A couple of good outside fastballs down in the zone from Barnes. Seems to have at least begun to make an adjustment. Critical pitch, 0-2. Smart pitcher puts it in a position that the hitter cannot put a charge into at all. You want to make sure that if he does hit it, that it's poor contact. So if you miss off the plate. If you miss down.
Last pitch off the mark with 1 away here. You see Troutwine on first, held on by Brickhouse. And got him swinging 2 away.
That may have been Barnes' best pitch of the night. Fantastic 1-2 changeup, and you see the action on this. When he stays on top of it, the bottom falls out of that, and you see it start tailing in to the back right foot of Jordan Boyer. He just can't get the bat down low enough, fast enough to make contact.
Now we'll point out Wichita State hitting .500 in this ball game with 2 outs. Luke Ritter comes up to the plate with 2 outs and 1 on. They have 4 2-out base hits tonight. And that includes last inning when they had 3 of them. Now they're better than .500. As Ritter keeps it going. So Troutwine to second, Ritter at first. Another multiple base hit inning for the Shockers. They still have not scored here in the 7th, after scoring all 6 innings prior. And here's Grayson Janista.
It's almost made it out of the 1st and out of the 6th inning with no runs allowed, getting 2 outs before runners scored in each of those innings. First inning was off the home run by Bohm. Second inning was off a single by Trey Vickers.
Shockers hitting .429 with runners in scoring position as we throw more stats at you here. It's been a good night for Wichita State. Janista had started 117 straight games until missing last Sunday's start against Furman. He'll try to get this one through. Lloyd will knock it down and just able to get it despite confusion to the glove of Brickhouse. And that is the first scoreless inning posted by ECU, and it's Zach Barnes in relief who starts and finishes the inning. They'll strand a pair of Shockers along the way. The Pirates still with a handful of outs to work with tonight here at home.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle.
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
Be American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Pirates will come up here in the home half of the seventh, still trailing by 7. 9 outs still to work with. Lincoln Rose, Kelly Wunsch with you. Greenville, North Carolina, home of East Carolina University. And we mentioned for the past 16 years and now in a 17th straight season, ECU continues to lead the state of North Carolina in college baseball attendance. Right now, the 7th inning stretch.
Are the Greenville Braves still in town?
I want to say no.
Left.
I want to say no.
Left a little bit of a void.
Those Durham Bulls, though, are still around.
Yes, they are.
Unfortunately for all those chickens. As Pirates now top of the order, Bryant Packard has been a bright spot in this lineup. A home run, a double, and a sacrifice fly. 2 runs batted in today. Officially 2 for 2. He has 2 of the team's 5 base hits.
Biggest challenge of him for the night, facing tall lefty Keelan Kilgore.
Kilgore came on last inning with 2 men on, nobody out. Got a pair of strikeouts and a fly out. In relief of Cody Hoyer, who is at the moment on track for the victory. But things can happen. And the Pirates have had success getting their leadoff man on. Chandler Jenkins out of the 7th spot. Comes the first man in the bottom third of the order since a couple of innings ago to reach base.
Well, Packard has just put some good swings on the ball tonight, every at bat.
I said Jenkins, Packard, pardon me. Yeah, Packard 3 for 3 with a couple of RBI and a run scored.
Certainly doing it how they teach it tonight.
That's 3 straight innings with the leadoff man reaching for the Pirates. But it's at bats like this that don't help. As Boyer able to squeeze that one in off the bat of Brown. Just 1 pitch.
Yeah, if you're Brown, you don't want to end up getting jammed on a first pitch that you're swinging at. I think what happens, though, you get that lefty throwing the ball kind of across his body. That ball found its way a little further on his hands than he anticipated when he started the swing. That's one I bet you he wishes he had back.
So 1 on, 1 out. And a first pitch strike to Spencer Brickhouse. Brickhouse today reached on an error and has since fouled out twice. He helped salvage the end of that last half inning when he was able to cover the bag and receive the throw. A little defensive confusion. That almost cost the Pirates their first scoreless inning defensively. A solid cut, but Kilgore able to get it past him.
Kilgore's doing a great job of coming in here throwing strikes. Came into this game striking out or walking just as many as he struck out. But he's gotten ahead of hitters and stayed ahead. Brickhouse wants to do something with it. He's probably going to need to sort of give in and try to flip the ball to the left side of the field, similar to what Packard did. Take that outside fastball and drive it to the left side of the field. A lot of left-handed hitters are not used to going opposite field. It's kind of a position that you're used to just hooking it, dropping head, trying to yank it down the right field line. So especially big 3-hole hitters with the last name Brickhouse. Not used to giving in with 2 strikes.
This one could get down. That's going to be 2 on for a second straight inning. Multiple base runners for the Pirates.
Well, Brickhouse did a good job working his way back even in the count with a full count. And Kilgore just left that ball a little bit over the inside half. Just like we talked about, those lefties like to pull the ball. He put it where lefty could pull it.
It's actually 3 straight innings the Pirates bats have led to multiple base runners. But it's only produced 1 run so far during that same stretch. Jake Washer comes to the plate for the 4th time today, a walk, and otherwise has been retired to end both the 3rd and 5th inning. 0 for 2 today. This is your cleanup hitter with only 3rd base unoccupied. And 1 away, runner on second is Packard, who has been nearly perfect today at the plate. And Brickhouse, the runner on first, with his first base hit.
Is he playing Candy Crush on that wristband?
Fruit Ninja was the only one I was knowledgeable of. Glad to have you with us tonight on the American Digital Network. Top 25 matchup, just the second ever meeting between these 2 programs. First in the lifetimes of these players. 2 historic programs with great NCAA tradition. This ball is going to hang up, will not get out of the infield. That's 2 away. I talk about NCAA success. Wichita State has been to the NCAA tournament 27 times, ECU 28 times, including 14 the last 19 years, although the Pirates missed out last year. Shockers have been to 7 College World Series, including the 1989 national champions.
Well, they went through a period back when I played, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s, where they were just a powerhouse. It seemed like they were in the series every year.
And that was part of their run in the Missouri Valley Conference, where they'd been members since 1948. Here's Connor Litton. He has struck out twice, but singled last inning.
I give Kilgore a lot of credit. He's come in and had first pitch strike on most of the hitters he's faced. Done a good job of keeping them on their heels.
Pirates 8 hits, but they've stranded 7 men on the base paths tonight.
Let's go, 2-5, here we go.
That includes 2 last inning when they had 2 singles with nobody out. And the next 3 batters retired by Kilgore on the mound right now. 1 ball, 2 strike now to Litton. Runner in the first and another run in the 5th for the Pirates for their 2 tonight. And right back to Kilgore, who for a second straight inning pitches with multiple men on, and for a second straight inning does not allow either to come home. 7-run lead still intact for the Shockers. We move on to the top of the 8th. They'll grab their bats.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Well, Todd Butler, head coach of Wichita State, mentioned one of the benefits of joining the American, a few more major airports to fly into. Shockers had a midweek matchup near Little Rock this week, be able to hop into North Carolina, here to Greenville. That means the fans want to come watch their family members and make similar travel arrangements. And a few keeping score.
Oh, the life of a starting pitcher. Gotta keep the scorebook, gotta keep the radar gun. Somebody's in the dugout with the spray chart.
As opposed to you, who had the spray tan.
There's a lot more paperwork for pitchers than you would believe.
Reminder, just 2 more weeks to do your taxes. So right now for ECU, the next man up is Austin Covers, the junior from Crystal Lake, Illinois. This is after Zach Barnes became the first reliever to go a full inning. So Covers is your 6th pitcher, 5th out of the bullpen. And this may be one of the reasons why. It's Alec Bohm. Bohm was able to face Benton twice, the starter tonight, but now facing his 3rd different Pirate on the mound. Bohm with a home run in the 1st, 2 RBI double in the 3rd, and a walk and a run scored last inning.
Well, not happy with himself on that pitch. You can see him hopping around. He really felt like he should have gotten into that one. It was an aggressive, big swing that he just missed, just got underneath it.
Bohm with his 13th and 14th extra base hits of the year tonight. Wichita State, though, was held scoreless for the first time in program history in a matchup in the American last inning. There were a lot of firsts in program history since joining the American here tonight. They're hoping to be the only program ever to be undefeated in the American, at least for an evening.
Yeah, as far as American Conference debuts go, this has gone very well for Wichita.
Able to punch it into the gap, a home run and a double tonight. And Bohm will add a single to his collection on a 3-for-4 night.
Triple shy of the cycle. He'll has a chance, depending on how this inning goes, to get one more at bat.
His best chance probably would be just hit one out and stop at 3rd. Here's Paxton Wallace, a single, most recently back in the 6th. 1 for 3 today, also has been hit by a pitch and scored.
Yeah, the lack of a triple has probably killed more cycles than any of the other requirements.
that'll even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, your pitcher this inning is Austin Covers for the Pirates, facing Paxton Wallace now. Second man up for the Shockers this inning. Covers making his 7th appearance, all out of relief. An 8.1 ERA coming into today, and a little over 3 innings of work. So usually just faces a couple of batters at most. But this is a bullpen that, again, has already used up 5 arms tonight on your first of a 3-day homestand against a top 25 program.
You can see where Covers would be a difficult read for a left-handed hitter because he kind of steps towards the left-hander's batter's box and throws across his body. Fairly high arm angle.
A foul tip back to glove and a strikeout for the first batter retired here in the 8th.
I was about to say, you can get, with this type of delivery, you can get a lot of those outside fastballs. A lot of times you see these left-handers that throw across their bodies like that able to elevate on the outside half of the plate. Right-handers have the hardest time picking that up for some reason.
Trey Vickers had an RBI in his last appearance back in the 6th inning. Vickers 2 for 2 officially tonight, hitting .389 now on the year. Sprinklin being hit by a pitch twice.
You watch where Covers takes the ball out of his glove, and you can see him really kind of stick it behind his back. And it takes him till right before the release before you see the hand again. It effectively makes the pitch seem like it's coming harder because it takes a little bit longer to pick up. So mentally, it's actually a faster pitch.
Vickers at the plate. Mentioned hitting well tonight. Missed first month of the season with a hamstring. Returned going 3 for 5 with a home run. Back in stride. Draws comparisons to Eckstein of the Angels back in the day, shortstop in that World Series run. But perhaps most impressively, one of 30 individuals named for the Lowe's Senior Class Award for both in the classroom, on the field, and in the community accomplishments. As third baseman Litton will charge and fire across his body and throw it away. And they're now asking whether that camera well is out of play, but runners will hold up at first and third.
A great barehanded grab by Connor Litton. Throws the ball on the run. You'll see him grab it nice and clean. Just leaves it a little bit too far on the foul side of the baseline of the bag. First baseman Brickhouse has to kind of alligator arm to keep his arm from getting knocked off by Vickers.
They're going to give Vickers an infield single, but a throwing error that allows Bohm to advance to third rather than just simply hold up at second. That's a wild pitch. Runner comes home, and the Shockers have now scored in 7 of the 8 innings.
That's a tough pitch for catcher Jake Washer to block. You see him get up in that position to try to throw his right shoulder to get it up high enough. Problem is the ball was bounced so far in front of the plate, the bounce was so high he couldn't raise his shoulder up high enough.
So a single, a strikeout, and a single. A wild pitch brings Bohm home. And here's O'Brien now to the 6th spot. 1 for 4 today. Right now ahead in the count. 2-1. These two teams are back at it tomorrow evening. And then Saturday will be the getaway day for Wichita State this weekend. That'll be a noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern start time on Saturday. Tomorrow, 6:30 local Eastern, 5:30 Central. And another wild pitch. This one won't cost him a run, but another 90 feet to Vickers.
Interesting pitch selection there. I would have anticipated a lefty on lefty. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Be a great time to throw that breaking ball. Unless I'm just not seeing it right. That just looked like a fastball that he overthrew, yanked it down in the dirt.
O'Brien will get this one in the outfield. Vickers comes home. And there's still just one away after the RBI single for Mason O'Brien. That's with the infield cheating up.
Well, full count. O'Brien knew he's going to have to come to him. Covers. He's a fastball literally right over the middle of the plate.
Love it.
And that may be it for Austin Covers. We will have a 7th Pirate on the mound when we come back. You're watching American Baseball here on the American Digital Network. Shockers still threatening with just one away here in the top half of the 8th inning.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Well, 6th man out of the bullpen for ECU tonight is Sam Lanier, the junior, out of Florida. And let's see if he can help the Pirates close this one out and save the rest of the arms for the next 2 days here in conference play. Again, ECU dropped their Friday matchup in their opening weekend here in conference last weekend against UCF. Still able to bounce back and take Saturday and Sunday for the series. 1 pitch, 2 outs. That'll do it. An efficient pitch from Sam Lanier. Take notes. Inning-ending double play. That means the Pirates will come to the plate in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Wild pitch is costly as Bohm and Vickers ultimately both score.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Home half of the 8th inning. Pirates down to their final 6 outs, presumably here on this Thursday evening of American Athletic Conference Baseball. Lincoln Rose, Kelly Wunsch with you here on the American Digital Network. Glad to have you with us for the Shockers. The question was, sure, top 25 in non-conference play. Now, they have scheduled tough over the years. They've played a lot of weekend series over the past 4 years under Todd Butler against impressive programs to get ready for conference play. But the question was, this year you're entering a new conference. Will those results continue? And so far the answer is yes. And it's just the second pitcher used tonight, Keelan Kilgore, still working strong innings of relief. He just wrapped up. And now our third pitcher for Wichita State is Clayton McGinnis, native of the Show Me State, Missouri, right next door to Wichita State in the Sunflower State of Kansas. And how about this efficiency level, Kelly Wunsch, of our last 2 pitches of this ball game, combining for 3 outs?
You're gonna love it as a fan. Of course, if you're at Major League Baseball, that's what they're trying to do, huh?
With that said, no small task there. He was able to retire Brady Lloyd, who had those back-to-back singles. Lloyd now 2 for 4 on the day, quickly retired. His batting average down to .441 now. And now his teammate Chandler Jenkins out of the 7th spot, 0 for 3 today. Bottom third of the lineup, I was going to say 0 for 7. This one may have a chance. 0 for 8. 2 pitches thrown by Clayton McGinnis. 2 outs.
McGinnis is the Shockers' most often used reliever. He's gotten 14, this is his 15th appearance. He's only thrown 14 full innings at this point. I guess 14 and 2/3. So he's generally coming in and getting 3 outs and getting out of it, but he's been very successful with a 1.93 ERA.
If he has it his way, we don't get to dive very deep into his history. Here's Seth Cadell, 0 for 3 today.
I always like watching pitchers like him work. You see he gets right up there on the mound. Not a whole lot of thinking. He's really aggressive in the zone. Puts those hitters in it puts those hitters in the mind frame of they know that they're going to have to swing. You know, they're going to sit there and take pitches to try to get ahead in the count, because they know if they take a pitch, they're going to find themselves behind in the count. So they're swinging early and often, which in some cases, especially if you hadn't seen the pitcher yet, puts you in an uncomfortable position.
And this is the deepest into a pitch count tonight for Clayton McGinnis. 4th pitch coming up, count still 0-2.
He hung that curveball just enough. Sometimes when you hang the crap out of something, it actually works in your favor. You saw that ball get just a little bit too high, and he couldn't pull his hands in and get on top of it, get underneath that one.
We don't know the story behind his mustache. The 0-2 just could not keep it up there. And Wichita State picked 6th in this conference in the preseason. Genesta squeezes it in. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning as Clayton McGinnis made his American debut. Shockers bring their bats to top of the 9th when we come back.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially. Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Top half of the 9th inning as Wichita State trying to get through the bottom of their lineup, 8, 9, and then top spot of the order due up. And we have seen Cliff Godwin a few more times than he would have cared for here tonight. 4th year as the head coach of the Pirates. So for ECU, Worrell is in center field. And looking around the infield, pitcher still Lanier on the mound. Washer behind the plate. That's our lone change.
Sparky Troutwine just having a night. 3 singles and a homer.
4 for 4, now batting .323, located in the 8th spot of this lineup.
Just missed inside on that curveball. Pretty good pitch.
Out of Fairway, Kansas, from Shawnee Mission East High School.
Catch up to an elevated fastball.
Mentioned with the new recruiting base for Wichita State, Sparky's going to be hearing a lot more howdy and y'all in his life. He'll be caught looking. Does not care for it as a catcher in his own right who's been watching the strike zone this evening. He'll take a seat. Lanier with the K.
Come on, JB.
Now
As a catcher, you got to watch your tongue because you got to get right back under there. Get up close and personal with an umpire.
And Pirates are down to their final 3 outs, presumably, when we reach the bottom half of this inning. Here's Jordan Boyer out of the 9 spot. Again, the only one of his teammates currently in the lineup without a base hit.
Which is something I would wager that he knows.
Hunter Gibson officially was 0 for 1 today in the starting lineup before Dugas pinch hit for him. And there goes that note. And I think his teammates were also well aware of it as well.
Well, I love that.
1 for 5 on the night. Able to push one to right. Top of the order, Luke Ritter, 2 for 4 this evening. A single, a double, and a walk, a run scored for the leadoff man.
You're not thinking about baseball. There's just no hiding in baseball.
There's too much downtime to go to the World Wide Web and learn things.
No way you can sneak through and go 0 for 4 and your whole lineup not know that you're 0 for 4.
So the question now with one away is, can two more batters come up and give Alec Boehm a chance at the cycle? He's a triple shy. Right now, the focus on Luke Ritter. And Lanier looking for his second strikeout.
Triple will be the most difficult one to get for Boehm, especially at this ballpark. Very sort of straightforward ballpark, not any
nuance.
No places where the ball is going to get caught or bounce around. Not overly deep. Doesn't have some weird batter's eye that could. There's no Hall Finds Hill. There's no flagpoles in play.
2-2 from Lanier. That ball snagged. And that is an infield single. That was just fair.
Tell you, Linton's flashing pretty good leather over there at third base tonight. He hadn't always been able to finish the play and get an out, but he has done a fantastic job of getting to the ball and keeping it from going in the left field, and at least making a shot at it.
So remember, Troutwine was caught looking at strike 3. Since then, a couple of one-out singles. Here is Janista, who's 1 for 5 today, still batting .329 on the year. Pirates have the 9, 1, and 2 spot due up.
I love hearing some of the new nicknames. Did you hear that one?
I missed out on it.
PUBG. Of course,
Grayson.
Unless you have, unless you have a teenager at home that is playing PUBG on the computer constantly, you might not catch that and know what that is.
That one gets through the wickets, but nobody advances. And Janista, if nothing else, a gentleman, picks up the mask for Washer. Well, barring a double play, that man in the on-deck circle, Boehm, is going to have a chance. And he's no stranger to coming up with bases loaded. Let's see if they can keep the bases from being loaded. Janista puts a charge in it. Both the runners were off the bags. They have to retreat. Nobody advances as Worrell squeezes that one in. So 2 outs, and Alec Boehm.
Well, Lanier got away with hanging that one pretty badly. You can see Hendrickson didn't read it all that well initially off the bat. The ball was squared up, hit right at him. Had a little bit more legs on it than he originally thought, I think.
Boehm began this ball game with a 2-out home run in the first inning, his 6th home run on the year. He has driven in 3 tonight. Now 3 for 4 on the evening. Just a triple shy of the cycle, and it seems unlikely this will be 3 bases, but how about 4? Oh, it just continued for Boehm. It's a 2-home run kind of night in his American debut. 6 runs driven in this evening by the preseason All-American.
That's pretty no-joke power. You see the way the wind's blowing so hard cross field. That ball's going into the teeth of a pretty strong wind and still has the legs to carry it over the wall. That ball was spanked pretty well.
And one pitch later, the line out to the glove of Litton. Wichita State as advertised, but the Pirates with 3 more outs to try to mount a miraculous comeback here at home.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
2 teams combining for 4 home runs tonight, including a pair from Alec Boehm. In his American debut, 4 runs scored, 6 runs driven in. He does not hit for the cycle unless there are extra innings somehow. He messed up, Kelly. He did a triple, hit the home run.
A little bit too far. And somehow managed to have it hit off the yellow fence cap and have it bounce back towards second base and roll around for a little bit. That may have been a chance, but that was it.
Leaves us something to wait for the rest of conference play. Should be a great stretch in conference. So many talented programs, and with these 2 surpassing preseason expectations, should be quite the hunt for the title this year, and of course the seeding going into Florida this May for the conference tournament. Well, Wichita State's going to go to their 4th pitcher, 3rd out of the bullpen tonight, as we get our look at Robbie Evans out of Frisco, Texas. That's outside of Dallas, backyard of the AA Frisco Rough Riders, but now a junior. And he is facing the 9, 1, and 2 hitters. These days, that's Worrell, Whitehead, and Brown. Now, Whitehead was playing in left field last inning. Worrell in center. Now with his 2nd at bat, over 1 today.
Nice changeup.
So starting pitcher for Wichita State, Cody Hoyer, went a couple of batters into the 6th inning. As Worrell will send this one to that familiar spot, except this one is caught by Janiston. And 1 away.
Tell you, there's some outfielders on both teams that is ready for those flags to start blowing straight down. Fun playing baseball, especially outfield in this kind of wind.
Here is Bryant Packard. When Boehm hit that home run in the top of the 1st, Packard answered it in the bottom. And they are just going to beat him down the line, denying him what would have been his 4th base hit. He, too, was a triple shy of the cycle tonight, with a couple of runs batted in. Ultimately now going 3 for 4 tonight.
Nice job of O'Brien coming off the first base and making the play. Evans was a little slow getting over there. You'd like to see him beat the runner there by more than half a step.
I said that was Packard. My apologies again. That was Whitehead, the pinch hitter. He was retired with his first plate appearance tonight. And here is Brown, officially 0 for 3 this evening. Was hit by a pitch back in the 5th. A ground out, strikeout, and pop out otherwise. That one comes up and bites Troutwine on the arm.
Evans, good old-fashioned right-handed slanger. You see, he's goes real deep in the well with his arm circle. Really whips it low three-quarters, not quite sidearm.
And that will just sneak under the glove of Bohm. Seems like nothing going right for Alec Bohm this evening.
I'm not sure that, yeah, right. I'm not sure they got leather, but imagine they're going to end up.
Yeah, that's you saw the E5 flashed up there.
Yep. He had plenty of time to get in front, but chose to play it off the backhand. I say plenty of time. He had time.
So all of a sudden with 2 outs, Pirates down to their final out. That extends their opportunity here to Brickhouse. Third spot in the lineup, 1 for 4 tonight. Spencer had a single his last time up in the 7th 2 innings ago. Now batting .275 on the year. Again, his first time to face the newest Shocker pitcher, Robbie Evans. Evans trying to lock up the victory for Cody Hoyer, who got the start tonight. That is a fair ball, and that's a booted ball. As moving over to third, the base runner, Brown.
Well, 2 hitters ago, we mentioned ground ball that Whitehead hit that Evans barely got over to first base in time. This time he was just flat spectating. I don't know if he didn't think that that was going to be fair. You see him stop and start watching everything for a second instead of moving.
It is a single for Brickhouse. Now 2 for 5 on the night, and then a 2-base throwing error. That puts Brown on third.
Those are the things that are going to earn their pitching staff some pitchers fielding practice at practice on Monday. Things that drive you nuts as a pitching coach, to see your pitchers not doing the simple things like fielding position properly.
So 2 straight batters have reached with 2 outs, and really the evening on the line right now. In the bottom of the 9th. Washer pulls this one. That's a fair ball off the warning track. And the Pirates have their 3rd run of the evening. Brown comes home the final 90 feet. Brickhouse now over to third. On the RBI 2-out base hit.
Yeah, this is one that Evans doesn't have anybody to blame except himself. He could have been out of the inning if he had gotten to first base in time. Ends up with not only a hit because he wasn't there to get the throw. Now he ends up with earned, well, I guess that's not an earned run yet, but
they credit Washer with the full double as opposed to taking second on the throw. Most importantly, an RBI. All this is being done with 2 outs. Last 3 batters have reached. 1 has scored. Here's Connor Litton. 1 for 4 this evening.
Nice sinker from Evans. I would imagine he's not easy to pick up from a right-hander. Throws fairly hard, good sink. Had a couple of really good changeups earlier, just needs to not spectate. Good sinker.
Pirates wouldn't mind forcing the local sports anchors to miss their deadline. Pirates with a run in the 1st, run in the 5th, Now one more here in the 9th. After the Shockers scored every inning tonight with the exception of the 7th. And there's your final out of the ball game. Wichita State in its first ever matchup as members of the American now shoot straight to the top of the standings, joining Houston as unbeaten in conference play. They are 1-0 in their debut here tonight. A convincing 14-3 victory as Cody Hoyer picks up the win. What a night for the Shockers here in Greenville. They'll look to do it 2 more times this weekend. Both teams with great pitchers lined up for tomorrow's evening outing. Pirates now 2-2 in conference. Shockers a perfect 1-0. Alec Bohm with the first of his 2 home runs tonight.
Well, he was feeling it tonight. Didn't have any trouble seeing the ball. A couple of home runs deep. We're seeing another one from Packard, who had a fantastic night despite the rest of his lineup not really producing.
For Kelly Wunsch and our entire Adian crew, I'm Lincoln Rose. Next chance to catch American athletes out on the diamond tomorrow. Softball in Houston. It'll be the UCF Knights and the Houston Cougars coming at you. Of course, Game 2 for Wichita State and ECU takes place tomorrow as well. Final score, the Shockers in this top 25 matchup tape the opening game of the series 14-3 in Greenville.